Let's see. And shalom, shalom, everybody. I want to welcome everyone to King James Bible University and Precept Mastery. I'm Elder Michael Johnson, and we're going to be going through a discussion today. I want to welcome everyone to King James Bible University and Precept Mastery. I'm Elder Michael Johnson, and we're going to be going through what is this going? A discussion today. Somebody is. We need to mute. I need to make sure people are muted. Somebody is. I want to make sure everybody is muted. I need to make sure people are muted. Let me see. Let me make sure I got everything down. Got it. Okay, so we all good. So I do apologize, but I want to welcome everyone here, and that we're going to be going through a discussion with Minister MAKKABI, to where we're going to be going through, where this is actually the only brother that actually came up, and where this went out to was to Dial and a couple of other ones who had that belief, but this brother was highly respectful when he came over and he sent me an email, and me and him ended up talking, to where he said he actually holds to those beliefs, and he said that I probably had some of those things wrong, which you want to bring out. So as I said, I told the brother, hey, we're going to have him on to where he can come out, he can bring out what he have, and he want to use two different sources. He's going to use the CEPHER Bible as well as the BIBLEHUB to bring it out. If he need assistance to where he need to put it on there, I can help bring up what he need to bring up. And then from that point, we'll check the validity of all that and we'll go forward. However, I'm not looking for anyone that who joins in on this to where at any point to disrespect this brother in any way, and hopefully he has have some of his people that can join in on it. But at no point, we're not in here to disrespect him in any way. If anything, we're all going to look at this at the entirety of it, to where we can come out with a truth. So with that, I'm gonna let this brother, to where we need to give this brother the floor. He's gonna have the floor for about 15, 20 minutes, to where he's gonna bring out his scriptures, to which he's gonna show to where this multiple wife deal, to which we showed that clearly against, but he said it's something that we might have missed, to where he's actually gonna bring it out. So we're going to have him on. We're going to let him go through. So I'm going to give him the floor. So for the next 15 to 20 minutes, myself and the other elders cannot say anything as this brother bring it out. And then from that point, we can move forward. So I want to welcome everyone to meet Minister MAKKABI, which is this brother right here. Actually, he looked like my nephew, which is actually a trip. But we get ready to give this brother the floor. And Minister MAKKABI, if you can unmic, my brother, if any way that we can help you as far as pulling up any of the verses or anything, or if you need me to go to the BibleHub or whatever, I'll be more than happy to do that for you, to which you can bring out what you need to bring out. But right now, my brother, I'm getting ready to mic myself, and I'm gonna give you the floor. So I want to welcome everyone, and want to introduce Minister MAKKABI, and anybody address him as that. So I appreciate everybody, and right now I'm gonna give you the floor, my brother.
All right. Again, I appreciate the opportunity. All praises unto the Most High Yah, and unto the Son Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. I appreciate the opportunity to come on and do my best to show what at least I have been able to receive from the text, and do my best to just show you what I've seen in my own opinion. When I was watching the video, I can see you going directly into the chapters, and then it's like, I say, okay, he's there at the chapter, and then it's just kind of more like a veer off, or maybe just a little oversight. It's normal. You can read that word a million times a day. Unfortunately, we say we learn something new reading that word every day, and it's not that we haven't seen it in the word. It's just at the time the Most High allows us to pay attention to certain things at that time. So how that be it. The very first thing I would like to address is that yes, Moses or Moshe had two wives, and the two wives were separate. You have Ethiopia and you have Midian. These are two separate nations. Ethiopia is from Kesh, okay, and Midian comes from Korah, the mother of she is the last wife of Abraham, okay, and Kesh or Ethiopia is not in the same location as Midian. These are two separate locations, and as we know, um, Abraham sent he sent the children of Korah away to a certain area. So they should not have been not too far from Ethiopia, but they should not have been in that area of Ethiopia. Again, they are two separate races. Okay. So what I'm now going to do is go into the book of, I believe I have it here, it's Jasher. Jasher chapter 72. And I'm going to show when Moshe picked up the Ethiopian woman, okay? And then we can go and see when Moshe picked up the Midianite woman. They are two separate occasions, two separate women, two separate nations of women, okay? And they will give it to him at separate times, okay? And then we will recollect on what took place in Numbers with Miriam and Aaron, because that is where we had the understanding that both of them are the same. And all I'm saying is, per the scriptures that I have, I can't see where they're the same. So the very first thing I'm going to do is going to the book of Jasher, chapter 72. The book of Jasher, chapter 72. And Elder, I don't know if you can pull that up for them.
One second, let me get that for you.
Mm-hmm.
Let me pull up the book of Jasher. If not, do I have it here?
If it's something that I have on my phone, can I like share it on my phone? I'm not fully
Yeah,
aware of how to use
you
it
should be
on
able
Google.
to. You should be able to, but I'm gonna try to see if let me see if I can get this for you real quick.
Okay.
I'm gonna try to pull this up for you. 1 second. Let me see if I can get it. I think I might have it. And you said 72, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I gotta make this a little bit bigger. And now let me share my screen, and then people can pull this on over. So let me pull this up. 72, and you going to what?
I'm going to go ahead and start at verse. Let me see here. Go ahead and give me 37. For time's sake, I'm gonna go to 37 and kind of explain a little bit along the way. So we're gonna start at 37 and go down to 42.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And again, this is the CEPHER Bible. This is the book of Jasher or Yasher, chapter 72, and this is verse 37. And all the people in the nobles swore unto him and gave him a woman, Adoniah, the queen, the Cushi woman of Canaanites. And they made Moshe king over them on that day. 38. And all the people of the Cush issued a proclamation on that day, saying, every man must give something to Moshe of what is in his possession. 39. And they spread out a sheet upon the heap, and every man cast into it something of what he had, one a gold earring and the other a coin. 40. Also of the oxy stone, the bildron, the pearls, the marble, did the children of Kesh cast upon Moshe upon the heap, also silver and gold in great abundance. 41. And Moshe took all the silver and gold and all the vessels and the billium and the oxystones which the children of Kesh had given to him, and he placed them amongst his treasures. 42. And Moshe reigned over the children of Kesh on that day in the place of the Cushite kingdom. Okay. If you want for more context, for anyone who need more context, you can read this whole chapter of Jasher or Yasher, for those which ones of the pronunciation. This is the time that Moshe had actually left Egypt. He was banished from out of Egypt. He was actually, you know, pretty much getting ready to be, I'm not going to say killed, but his life was definitely threatened at that time. And along the way, as we know that the Ethiopia and Egypt region, they're not far. Okay, so this is where he went to. And during his time there, as the Jasher is recording, that this is what happened. He was given an Ethiopian woman, and when he was given that Ethiopian woman, he accepted her through the marriage, and also he reigned over there. And they used Moshe because Moshe is a general. He was a very good war general. He's a very good man of war. And a lot of people may not know that, but he is a man of war. So now we go into we're going to go into I believe that is Exodus. Give me a moment. I guess when I moved everything when I tapped into Jasher. So give me a moment to pull up that verse for Exodus. We're going into Exodus when we will see that Sephora is given to him after he rescues them, and then we understand that Sephora is from Jethro, which is a Midianite priest. So now we understand that that's a Midianite woman and a Ethiopian or Cushite woman, two separate races, two separate people. So let me get that verse while I pull that up. I believe that's Exodus. I want to say chapter 10, but let me get that. Goes on to Pharaoh and our heart. Okay, so let me make sure this is the verse before I turn it loose. And I'm just trying to, so you know which one I'm looking for is I'm getting when Jethro brings his daughter to Moshe, because there was a time when Moshe, and I believe her name is Zephora, had the little incident, and Moshe wound up sending her back after she had refused to allow Moshe to circumcise his child. So after that incident, he basically sent her back. So let me, that's the incident. I'm trying to get past that. I'm trying to get to when Jethro is bringing her back and giving her giving him his wife. Because we know Jethro is again a Midianite priest, and he's bringing his daughter. So his daughter is a Midianite woman. So I just want to provide that precept, those two, for at least that understanding. Hopefully that gives the clarification of showing that there were two women for Moshe. That's why they were referring to that in Numbers. All right. So let me pull that up. I apologize. I'm taking so long. Okay, so we're going into Exodus. I had it right here. Exodus, that'll be Exodus chapter 18. Exodus chapter 18. And we're just going to read the first two verses. If you want to pull that up in any of the Bibles, whichever your preference is, Pastor, is going to read out the same. And I just want to read 18 verses 1 and 2. Exodus. Okay, Cain, thank you very much, Elder. Exodus chapter 18, verses 1. And when Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moses' father-in-law, heard of all that Yahweh had done for Moshe and all for Yasharel and his people, and that the Elohim had brought Yasharel out of Mizraim. Then 2. Then Jethro, Moshe's father-in-law, took Zipporah, Moshe's wife, after he had sent her back. Okay, so now we have the other precepts. So now I have 2 precepts to show that we have 1, a Cushite woman, and then 2, we have a Midianite woman. Here, those are my 2 precepts. Now we can go into Numbers. I believe that is Numbers chapter 6, to where they are approaching Moshe about his Ethiopian wife. Okay, now we understand why they was a little more agitated with him, because he had took this Ethiopian woman. And all honesty, the issue was is that she was not of a Hebraic lineage. So that was the issue with them, was the Midianite woman at least came from under Abraham. The Ethiopian woman is purely from Ham. But the Most High did not have a problem with this. So he was wondering, why would they feel that it's more of an issue, not too much about the marriage. The Most High had an issue with that they lied on themselves, saying basically, is Moshe the only prophet? That's where the issue is. Okay. Miriam and Aaron was basically saying, is he the only prophet amongst us?
So
And
you want Numbers 12.
oh, that's number 12. I know I said chapter 6.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you, Elder.
yeah, there you go.
Thank you so much. So that's what we really have here, is that Miriam and Aaron are chastising Moshe about the Ethiopian woman, and the Most High is really keying in not too much on the Ethiopian woman. He's keying in on that they came unto Moshe and said unto Moshe that he's not the only prophet, as if the Most High had interjected and said something to them to come to Moshe. That's what the problem was. Okay, so we're going to read here in Numbers chapter 12, and it says, and Miriam and Moshe spoke against Moshe because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married, for he had married the Ethiopian woman. We already cleared this. 2, they said, have Yahweh indeed spoken only to Moshe? That's a question mark. So they're out here to a people here saying, did the Most High only speak to Moshe, or has he spoken only to all of us all? And Yahweh heard it. See, now he's like, okay, see, now y'all trying to make it seem like, okay, because we're all the people and we're all, kingdom of priests and we're all prophets, that we can just anytime, at any moment, anyone can stand up and just start saying that the Father is speaking to me too. And that's where the Father is not going to have that. Okay, so we're going to continue. Verse 3. Now the man Moses was very meek above all men, and they were above all men which were on the face of the earth. And Yahweh spoke suddenly unto Moshe and Aaron and unto Miriam, come out ye 3, come out ye 3 unto the tabernacle of the congregation. And they came out, and Yahweh came down into a pillar of cloud, um, um, into a pillar of cloud, and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forward. And Yahweh said, listen to what he addressed. He never even addresses, the Father never addresses the woman. Listen to what he addresses. Okay. If there be a prophet amongst you, so he's not even addressing the woman, he's addressing the prophet, because that's what they're claiming, that the Father told me to get up and come say something to you about this Ethiopian woman. Moses can't be the only prophet. So they're coming to feel like they had the audacity to chastise him about something that they didn't like personally. That's what the issue was. And they tried to make it seem that the Father was speaking through them. And that's where they messed up. And so as we continue to see here, as the Father came down and he said, hear now my words. If there be a prophet amongst you, I, Yahweh, will make myself known unto him in a vision, and I will speak unto him in a dream. My servant Moshe is not so, who is faithful in all my house. With him I will speak mouth to mouth, and even apparently and in dark speeches, and the similitude of Yahweh shall be, behold. Wherefore, then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant? Okay, so this is where we stop here. So now he's asking them, you guys weren't afraid to speak against him and pretending to be prophets. You're saying that I have come to you about this issue of Miriam with a second woman. This was not what was being conveyed there. It was being conveyed about them claiming to be prophets, and that they are not, that Moshe was not the only one who could receive prophecy. So that's why the Father put them in check. He never even addresses the issue of the additional woman. Nextly, we're going to go into Jeremiah chapter 3.
You got about another, I'm gonna give you another 5 minutes to where we can get this. We're gonna go in Jeremiah real quick.
Okay. I tell you what, since it's another 5 minutes, I will prefer to just tighten down real quick, because I know I have to give you guys room to give me whatever you need to say. So what's the name? Let me go into Deuteronomy.
Okay.
Chapter 21.
21.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And this is again,
let me pull it up for you. 1 second. Let me pull it up for you.
Okay.
There you go. You want 15?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right. And as we see here, and it says, if a man has two women, I'm sorry, this is Deuteronomy chapter 21, verses 15. And I'm going to read down to, I believe it stops at 19, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. All right. And I'm reading this to show that the Father made provisions for men who would have a second woman, that he was making provisions for the inheritance of the women, on how the children should receive the inheritance. So this is Yahweh speaking unto Moshe. And he says, if a man has two women, one loved and the other hated, and they have borne him children, both loved and the hated, and the firstborn son be hers that was hated. Okay. Then it shall be, when he makes his son to inherit that which he was, that he may not take the son of the beloved as the firstborn before the son of the hated, which is indeed the firstborn. But he shall acknowledge the son of the hated for the firstborn, by giving him a double proportion of all that he has. For he is the beginning of his strength. The right of the firstborn is his. Okay. So this is a situation of the Father, again, making the provisions for a man to be able to have a second woman. He's also not only saying that he has a second woman, he's given provisions of how the inheritance are to be passed to one to another. Okay, he's given that provision. And now we're going to go real quickly back into Deuteronomy chapter 17, to fill in that context.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, 17.
Before 17, we're going to start at 14.
Okay.
And this is what I was saying, that I believe that some of you were right there, but some of the verses, you know, if we had just gone up a little bit, we probably could have maybe had a different yield, maybe. Okay. But nevertheless, this is provisions that was given for a king. Okay. And this is where I'm going to need, if you can, whenever you get a chance, when I get to verse, I believe 16, I'm sorry, verse 17, that is when I'm going to need the interlinear so we can get context on the word multiply. Okay. Okay. And after that, I'll yield because I know, like you said, I have 5 minutes.
Okay.
And I'm going to read verbatim what you got here, or what you have on the screen. All right. And that is Deuteronomy chapter 17, verse 14. When thou come unto the land which Yahweh thou Elohim giveth thee, and thou possessest it, and thou dwell therein it, and shall say, I will set a king over me, like as unto all the nations that are about me. 15. Thou shalt in any wise set him a king over thee, whom thou Yahweh thy Elohim shall choose. One from amongst thy brethren shalt thou set king over thee. Thou mayest not choose a stranger over thee, which is not thy brother. Okay, but he shall not multiply horses to himself, nor cause the people to return to Egypt, to the end that he should multiply horses foremost, as Yahweh had said unto you. Ye shall not henceforth return no more that way. 17. Neither shall ye multiply wives to yourself. And this is the context of this. This is the main purpose of this text. Neither shall you multiply wives unto yourself. And it says that his heart turn not away. Neither shall he multiply silver and gold unto himself. So as we see here, that this was a provision for laws of the future kings of what was their do's and don'ts. So if you have the interlinear ready for verse 17, we're going to see that here where it says many or multiple, I'm sorry, it says don't make great or don't make much when you actually go into the word. So it's not saying multiply. The word, I guess the English language is trying to convey the understanding of don't go around here making so doggone much, and which we understand there was a king who did that so much that what? His heart was turned away from the Father. And we have a precept for that. And you go into 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 4, and it says, Solomon had got old in his old age, that his women turned away his heart from the Father. So the Father is saying to them, don't get all of these women. Don't have a king that get all of these women and think that he's going to multiply all of these women, or have a, if we remove the word multiply, a great number of such a many number of women, that he's going to turn his heart away. Because Solomon did the same thing. As again, if you go into that, Solomon turned his heart away. He started worshiping the Sidonians, making sacrifices to all of these different strange gods. He had completely turned his heart away, and his heart was no longer like his father David.
Okay,
So that's the best as I can do.
Okay.
Within that cram time, and hopefully I can.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna allow you to come back, but what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna address your Deuteronomy. We're gonna go to Deuteronomy. Back up. You saying that was the provisions for what was going on for on how you supposed to do wives. So first we're gonna address this. We're gonna address this directly by precepts, my brother. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna run the Deuteronomy. We're gonna go to 21. We're gonna go to verse 15. We're gonna run this right down through. It's pretty straightforward. So, and it tells you right there, if a man have 2 wives, one beloved, another hated, and they have borne him children, both beloved and hated. If the firstborn son be hers that is hated, then it shall be, when he maketh the sons inherit what he have, he that he may not make the son that is beloved firstborn before the son that a son of hated, which is indeed the firstborn. So what we're going to do, we're going to understand this. And it says, and we shall acknowledge the son of the hated for the firstborn by giving him a double portion, which all he have, for he is the beginning of his strength, and the right of the firstborn is he. So what's going on right here, we need to understand what is actually happening. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to run precepts, understand exactly what it's talking about. And one, we're going to understand a couple of things that's in here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take you to a couple of places to where we can understand what's happening. So this is actually talking about, when he's talking about wives, it's talking about the Spirit of God, but we're going to see how this is going to work. So we're going to see one thing, we're going to go to Exodus. We're going to run precepts to understand what's going on. So we're going to go to Exodus and we're going to look at 13 and we're going to run down to verse 12. And we're going to look at this. And this is why it's talking about firstborn. In verse 12, and it says, and thou shalt set apart unto the Lord all that open up the matrix, and every firstling that come of the beast which thou hast, the male shall be the Lord's. Why? Let's jump down to verse 15. And it should come to pass when Pharaoh had hardly let us go, and slew every firstborn of the land, the firstborn of the male, the firstborn of the beast, therefore sacrifice unto the Lord all that open up the matrix, meaning open up the oracles of God, is all it's talking about, being male, but all the firstborn are children I redeem. Why? Let's go over here to Numbers and get a better understanding of what's going on. We're going to go to Numbers and we're going to 3 and 12 and get a clear understanding, because it's talking about knowledge all the time. The first one that's going to open it up every time. So now 3 and 12, it says, and behold, I have taken the Levites from among the children of Israel instead of all the firstborn that opened the matrix among the children of Israel. Therefore, for that reason, the Levite shall be mine. Why? Let's go down and pull a little bit more precepts. Let's get a better understanding. We're going to go down to Numbers chapter 18. We're going to get a little bit more clear understanding. We're going to go down to 18 and verse 15, where he's still talking about this matrix, which is opening up, where we're going to get the understanding what he's talking about firstborn and how this firstborn and how these how they're going to get the double portion. All I'm doing, I'm going to walk you through to where we're going to get that understanding. It says, for everything that opened the matrix in all flesh, which they bring unto the Lord, whether it be men or beasts, shall be thine. Nevertheless, the firstborn man shall thou surely redeem, and the firstling of the unclean beast shall thou redeem. Why? Because we're going to see exactly what just happened. Because now what we're talking about is we're going to see one that's hated, which Deuteronomy 21:15 was talking about, and one is love. How can we see the silhouette picture when he's talking about actual people? Let's look at this and we're going to see the understanding, which we're going to understand now why he was saying this all together. Because we're going to see something that's real particular that most people actually look over and really not understand what's going on. Let's go to Genesis 25. We're going to look at verse 28. Real quick, real weird, and we're going to see something what happened. We'll start at verse 27. Actually, we'll start at verse 25 and get a better understanding. It says the first came out red. We know this talking about Esau, in all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. So that's the firstborn. That's the first one that came out. And after that came his brother, and he took hold of Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years, and she bare him. And the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, the man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. But why is this talking about this? We're talking about a firstborn, and we're talking about the firstborn of the spirit who opened up the matrix. Why? Watch what happened. Esau and Isaac loved Esau because he did eat his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Meaning what? It's talking about the same thing on what he was saying. So we're going to see who was the firstborn of the matrix, and we're going to see who was loved, and we're going to see who was hated. How can we find this out? Let's go right over here to Malachi, and we're going to see this silhouette picture and understand exactly what's going on. And this is something that's running precepts all day long. And it says, the burden of the word of the Lord of Israel by Malachi. I have loved you, saith the Lord. Ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother? Yeah. Was he the firstborn? Yeah, said the Lord. But guess who was the firstborn of the spirit? It was Jacob. Yet have I loved Jacob. I have aided Esau and laid his mountains away in his heritage waste or the dragon in the wilderness. So same as the Most High, which we see is clearly he's talking about born of spirit. This is not talking about women. This is not talking about flesh. But this is the problem that we're going through. We're going to see this again actually over in Romans chapter 9. We're going to go to 9. We're going to go down to verse 13, speaking the same thing. For it is written, and actually even right here, we're going to see right here where it even says, and it was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger. Why? Because he's the stronger. He's the one who had the knowledge of God. Why you sit there when it goes up, and it even talks about this in here. Not as this, but when Rebekah have conceived by one, even by our father Isaac, for children not yet born, neither having done any good or evil, that the proposal of God according to election might stand, not of work, but of him that calleth. Meaning what? It is written, Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. He's telling you plain as day, this is all he's talking about. Now we're going to look at this double portion to get this double portion to understand, because this is clearly talking about spirit. Why? We're going to pull one verse here in John 6:63, just to understand exactly this is always talking about spirit and not something else. But I'm going to show you that double portion in 1 second. We're going to go to 6:63 and we're going to look at this down. And it says, it is the spirit that quickeneth, the flesh profit is nothing. So what you are doing, you're looking at flesh. You're basing everything based on flesh, but the spirit is all it's talking about, because the flesh profit is nothing. The words I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. Why? Because now we're going to understand exactly where this double portion comes from and what he's talking about. And we're talking about the ones that open up the matrix, the matrix of God. How do we find this out? We're going to run precepts to get everything. We got to go to Genesis chapter 48, and we're going to see what happened here. Chapter 48, and we're going to see this double portion actually hit. We're going to hit, and we're going to drop down to verse 5. We're talking about Joseph. And now we know Joseph had 2 sons. And he says, and now thy 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, which were born unto thee in the land of Egypt before I came to thee unto Egypt, are mine. So Jacob is actually taking them on as his 2, and he's going to show you with the comparison, as Reuben and Simeon shall be mine. So he's showing you this same thing. We're going to jump down to verse 15 and pick up a little bit more. Then he blessed Joseph and said, God, before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac did walk, the God that fed me all my life long until this day. Why? We're going to see what's going on. We're going to jump down to verse 22. Moreover, I have given to thee one portion, that double portion, above thy brother, which I took out of the hand of the Amorites with my sword and with my bow. He's making this clear as day all the time. So this is what he was talking about all the time. But we're going to just clear a little bit more. And this is why he even talks about, when we look in verse 49, why he speaks in the way he speaks. When we look at 49 and verse 20, actually we can start down to 22. And he said, Joseph is a fruitful broth, even a fruitful broth by a well whose branches run over the wall. Why? Because verse 23, the archers, which is his brothers who was confederate with them, and the ones that actually sold his brother in, have sorely grieved him and shot at him and hated him. He was the one that was hated, but who was the one that saved Israel? It was actually Joseph. So Joseph actually ended up getting the double portion, because Joseph actually had the mind of the Most High, and he kept his mind on the Most High. That's all this is talking about. Let's jump down to verse 26. The blessings of thy father have prevailed above the blessings of my progenitors unto the uttermost bounds of everlasting hills. They shall be the head of Joseph, and here's the crown of the head with him, is separated from his brother. Why? When you go up to Genesis 49 and you look at this, it lets you know in verse 3, Reuben, thou art thy firstborn. That's just strictly a flesh, but who got the double portion? The first one who was born of the spirit. This is all clear as day. Now, the problem is also when we went over here, when you went into Numbers, in 1, Moses actually only married once. He didn't marry twice. And I'm gonna show you what gets most people. And it says, and Miriam and Aaron spake against Moses because of the Ethiopian woman, because whom he had married an Ethiopian woman. So what we have two problems is one thing here. One, she wasn't a Cushite. They was in the land of Cush, and Ethiopia is actually in the land where Ethiopian is the main place, but Cushites actually reside there. When you see Cushite actually speaks in every other Bible. That's why you don't see it spoken of here, because it would have clearly told you that Ethiopian was a Cushite, and clearly right here it don't say Cushite, it says Ethiopian. But the main part that we miss right here is had. Had is has been. So this is why most people mess up. And it's talking about had, who he had married. That's who he had married, because Moses clearly married this woman who was from Midian, and she wasn't a Cushite. She was actually an Israelite, because she wasn't an Israelite, she was actually a Hebrew, because Midian is from Abraham's Ketra. It's from there, and that's where this Midian came in. But they were still worshiping both sides. But what Miriam and them had the problem with is because she was from Ethiopia. That was the problem. That was it. They don't have nothing to do about anything else. And then this is why they said, had the Lord indeed spoken only by Moses. This is what the issue was. The issue was this woman that was out of Ethiopia, and they didn't pick up an Israelite woman. That's what the issue. Why? Because it even speaks on more. And this is why the Most High didn't even address it. The reason he didn't address it, because he actually makes it very clear. And now we don't have to see this part, but the part that I want you to see is when he actually got down here, and when he tells them and he breaks them off. He said, my servant Moses is not so, who is faithful in all my house. Meaning what? In belief and everything else. So even with this goes with marriage and everything else. He didn't have multiple wives at no time. That same woman, that's why you see that same woman goes on all the time. It never changes. Why? Because Moses was faithful in all his house. Moses only married once, and you never see where he married twice. Nowhere in scripture. And this is the problem that we actually has about with Jasher. We can go into Jasher, which I can show you some serious issues with Jasher. I'm gonna give you some time. 1 second. Let me pull up some stuff on Jasher, and actually, which one I want to pull? Actually, we're gonna look at this, because actually I want to show you another one to show you even how the CEPHER Bible is actually a bad Bible. But what we're gonna do, we're gonna look at something. We're gonna go over here, and I do know you have it, so I do want you to actually be able to unmic it. But the book of Jasher, I believe it's the book of Jasher that actually has it. Well, no, the book of Jasher don't have it, but I do know your Bible actually has it, because you use the CEPHER Bible. So the CEPHER Bible, actually, if you can, go to Isaiah, and we're gonna go to chapter 14, and I want to show you something. Isaiah chapter 14. We want to look at something. And actually, I have a CEPHER Bible here, so I can actually go to it myself also, and we're gonna look at something, because we need to validate this book that you have here real quick. And I want you to go through something. It's gonna be something that's real peculiar that actually don't make no sense. And right there, I will. Actually, I gotta go to the front to see, because this book has so much different stuff. Isaiah 6:29. Okay, if you go to chapter 14, verse 12, it says, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Halil? Is that correct or not correct? Do you all say the same?
Chapter 14, what verse again?
Verse 12.
Oh, I think that's why I skipped. Yes.
Okay. So it's saying Halil, correct?
Correct.
So I'm gonna show you where, and I can show you many other places, but what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go to the Bible Hub for you. HUB. We're gonna look at oh wait a minute, the Bible Hub, and let's run to the Bible Hub. And let me pull this up. 1 second, let me share my screen back, and I'm gonna show you some differences. Yeah, we have this back up. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna go to, I practiced working on this. I promise I practiced, and I think I got it. Because I don't use these things here. I really don't. But I practice on it to where I can try to get around on it. 14.
They become real convenient when you on the go, Elder.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna show you the problem where this is the issue. Okay, so I'm gonna look at the King James. This is the main one that we push from. This is the one that I'm gonna push, and I'm gonna show you why. So, same thing like I said before. Okay, now in verse 14, in chapter 14, verse 12, it tells you right here, "Oh, how thou fallen, O Lucifer, son of the morning." See now, where is this? So I'm trying to sit there, and actually, I think this is a thing to do. Okay. Oh, how they're falling from heaven, O Lucifer, and seeing right here, we're saying Halil. It's really important, and this is the problem, because what they're saying here, they actually saying it here. They're actually using this name, but they just spelling it with an E. Correct or not correct? Okay, so they saying one and the same thing, but I'm gonna tell you what the problem is. When it's saying Lucifer, is actually giving you the name. The function is what they actually using as the name, which they actually switched it around, which is actually incorrect. Because Halil don't mean nothing but boast, a person that's a boast. So when they use Halil here as the name, that's where they screwed up. How can we find this out? Everything is based on precepts when we use this. Because I'm gonna show you the same thing where he's talking about boasting. And this is what Lucifer did, not Halil. Halil is talking about a function, and Lucifer is talking about a name. And how can we find this out? I'm gonna show you this point to where you're gonna see the same name over here where it's talking about boasting. So let's go over here to Psalms. Psalms 34. Okay. And we're going to go to Psalms 34, and we're going to see the same things, 34 and 2. Let me go to 34 and 2. Okay. And I believe I got this worked out. Okay. So 34 and 2. Now, we see it says, and shall make it boast, with they're going to use the same identical thing, but it's talking about boasting. That's all it's saying. You see this name right here? You see that name right there? All you do with it gonna pronounce the same. All you do is change the W and the A, and you still got Halil. Correct or not correct?
Correct.
And this is out, and all this talking about is boasting. So what they have switched this around, which we have a problem. So this is one reason why I don't use these. This is one of the biggest reasons why I will not use it, because they talking about a function and they actually using it as a name. Last one I'm gonna show you, and then I'm gonna rest at that point. I'm gonna take you to one of my simplest ones. Let's go to Acts chapter 12, and this is a real straightforward one. And we're gonna validate that CEPHER Bible. Acts chapter 12 and verse 4. And I want to make sure we all on the same page. Now, how do we get it back to the normal? I believe, how do we get this back to normal? I believe we'd have to do this, I guess. Let me see.
Yeah, click on the King James.
Okay, so now we got Acts chapter 12, verse 4. And it says, and when they apprehended him, they put him in prison, delivered him to 4 quadrant of soldiers, to keep him tending after Easter. So King James got Easter to bring him forth to the people. What do yours say in the CEPHER Bible?
In the CEPHER, It says, two soldiers, kept him out of sleeping between, what's the name? Prison. No, it said Pesach.
Peace out. So it's talking about. So it's actually using a version of German and Yiddish. So and basically Polak. But Pesach in there, that's talking about Passover. Correct or not correct?
Correct.
Okay. So I want to do something. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 23. Okay. You know when you got it. Leviticus chapter 23. Let me know when you have it.
Go ahead.
Okay. It says 23 verse 5. It says on the 14th day, the first month at even is the Lord's Passover. Correct or not correct? You all say the same thing? Or you
Yeah, it say Pesach. It don't say Passover. But yeah, correct.
Verse 6, it says, and on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Lord. 7 days you must eat unleavened bread. Correct?
Correct.
Okay, so we have Passover first, we have unleavened bread second, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's go back to Acts chapter 12. In verse 4. So here in 4, it says, and when they apprehended him, they put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quadrants of soldiers, tending to keep him after Easter. But yours says Pesach, which is Easter, and they saying that's Passover in that CEPHER Bible. So my only question is, can you read for me verse 3 out of your CEPHER Bible?
Of Acts?
Yeah, Acts 12 and 3.
Okay, 12 and 3.
Yes.
And it said because he had saw it pleased the Yahudim, he proceeded to, further to keep Kippa also. Then there were the days of Metzah.
So that's unleavened bread, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So which one is first, Passover or unleavened bread?
Passover.
Okay, so why yours got Pesach and ours got Easter? Because
Well,
Passover is already gone.
well, we know that Easter is not the proper name, but through etymology, that's not the proper name. All of the strong concordance will tell you that word there is Pesach.
The strong concordance. The strong concordance is we also holding on to a Yiddish understanding. Easter is actually talking about the celebration of Easter. However, we still know. Okay, so what you saying? Passover is first. Well, you saying Passover is second and unleavened bread is first, based on.
No. I'm not debating all of that. Passover is first, per the scriptures.
Okay, but
all I'm saying is this specific word here, Easter, should not have been used because we were not celebrating Easter at that time. That was a word that's later to come to be.
No. So what we're saying right here is this not saying they were celebrating. This was the people who apprehended him was celebrating. They was tending to keep him to after Easter. This is not talking about a Jew's holiday. So again, I'm asking, so how is it that unleavened bread came before so-called Pesach? Because that's what
I don't know. I guess that's a scribal error within the text.
No, it's a scribal error, not in the King James Bible.
But the King James Bible was saying Easter, and that is completely a Greek or a pagan holiday.
Yeah, it's a heathen holiday.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
I'm not trying to argue the word play on that one. I know that it's supposed to be Pesach. When you give me a chance, I would like to give my 2 precepts for Deuteronomy chapter 21.
Yeah.
That's about and go from there.
Okay.
As I told you earlier, I don't have no gripes about which Bible or which word I use. Like I told you, wherever the truth is, that's where Maccabee run to. You show me that word, it's like the rubies, and I'm gonna do what? Sell my house for it. That's all I need to tell
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Okay.
So I agree with that, but the main thing is you holding on to something that you saying they're saying Pesach, but I want to know where that Pesach come from. And we know unleavened bread comes after Passover. And we know who penned this was Luke. So if Luke penned this,
Yeah.
I know
Luke,
Luke.
written from a Gentile perspective. He is a Gentile.
Oh, really? Can you show me that in scripture?
Can I show you that in scripture that Luke is a Gentile? Or
Yeah.
can I show you in scripture that Luke is not a disciple? Or can I show you
Oh,
in scripture that Luke?
I can show you a few of them that's not disciples.
Okay, so Luke is not, okay, so this is what we have here. Okay. Luke is not a disciple, and he was not someone who had a first account view of teaching, as did Paul did not have a first account view of teaching directly from the from Hamashiach. Okay. And from my understanding, from my studies, maybe it was a Schofield Bible. I could be inaccurate. That when I was opening and studying for the Bible of Luke, the very first thing is they mentioned that Luke is a Gentile who is a doctor. All right, and this was Schofield. I never went back and did any of the research, but knowing that Paul's mission was unto the Gentiles, I'm going to be honest, I assumed, okay, his mission was unto the Gentiles. This was one of his companions. Luke more than likely was a Gentile. Okay.
So my only question to you then is, so you saying, so Paul spoke to, and I know me and you talked in the back. So you saying a Gentile as what a real Gentile is, or you talking about, or he spoke to Gentiles as us?
Well, that can be both ways. I will ask this question first. Do you define Cornelius as an Israelite or a Gentile?
He's an Israelite.
So you define Cornelius as an Israelite.
Yeah.
So is he's one of those lost sheep that went out during the captivity and was not able to come back?
Well, he wasn't able to come back, and the Most High was speaking to him. The Most High sent him to Peter.
Because he wasn't living in our regions. Cornelius was coming from where?
Okay, so you got to remember what Cornelius is. Cornelius was of the Italian band, but I'm gonna show you who Paul actually spoke.
No, granted, no, I'm just trying to get understanding. I'm saying Cornelius was coming from where?
He was a soldier. He was a soldier.
But no, I'm saying it wasn't like he was coming from out of Israel. That's what I mean by that. He was coming from where? But before we get a little too far out of hand, Elder, I would like to go ahead, because this is what we were brought here for.
Go to Deuteronomy.
Get those precepts. Deuteronomy chapter 21. I understand that you're linking it to more of a spiritual, and I'm going to show the physical concept and precept by showing that if the wife was loved less, because that's the way that it should properly read instead of hated. If the wife was loved less, then the proportion was to be divvied in a certain way. And to understand that we are here debating about multiple wives, but we do clearly understand that Israel was started without a doubt with 4 women. There's no form of debating that. And with that understanding that we hear the Father before Jacob becomes Israel, he told Jacob and he said unto him that I am going to multiply you and I am going to make you this big nation. And he did that with the option of understanding that if he's going to multiply him, he did not multiply him with one. He gave him the option and he had multiple wives. And if we're going to say that the man cannot have multiple wives or he is unrighteous because of this, it's an understanding of saying that now we're saying that the order that the Father had laid out is unrighteous, because the Father laid it out, and not only did he lay it out, he continued to bless within the system that he laid out. Okay.
So who are you in the image of?
I'm in the image of Yahweh or Yahweh HaMashiach.
So if you're in the image of God, you should be emulating God, correct or not correct?
Okay, correct.
Okay, so I'm gonna have you to show me where you want to show me, And then 1 second, I want to see what this person have. I don't want them to. And I have a Duncan. You can unmic, but I need to let this brother finish out. Minister MAKKABI finish out what he's doing. And Duncan, do you just have your hand up, or is it a mistake? Must be a mistake. Let me take him down. Finish out, my brother.
Okay. Okay, so we already read it, but if you don't mind, Elder, could you go ahead and pull back up that Deuteronomy 21, please?
It's back up.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. We're going to start back again at I think that was 15, if I'm not mistaken, Elder.
Okay, we right there.
He said 15. Okay, perfect. And as it says, if a man has two wives, one loved and the other one hated, as I said, it should be less loved, or love a little less. Hated is a very strong word. And they have borne him children, both loved and hated. And if the firstborn son be hers, that was hated. Okay, then 16. Then it shall be, when he makes his sons to inherit, that when he hath that he may not make the son of the beloved firstborn be the son of the hated, which is indeed the firstborn. All right. But 17, but he shall acknowledge the son of the hated for the firstborn by giving a double proportion unto him, unto the proportion of that of excuse me, let me read that. Mm-hmm. But he shall acknowledge the son of the hated for the firstborn by giving him a double proportion of all that he has, for he is the beginning of his strength. The right of the firstborn is his. So the very first thing is here, this is very concretely talking about, again, two women. It's not given the understanding of, we're saying that we're talking about when it comes down to the sacrificing of the proportion of what's supposed to be given. Granted, that is a also added understanding for whenever a male is going to give a sacrifice. Can't deny that. However, that is not what this context is applying to. And if you will go to Samuel, 1 Samuel, and we will take care of that, please.
Okay. You want Samuel? You want Samuel? 2 Samuel chapter 12?
1 Samuel chapter 1.
1 Samuel chapter 1.
Mm-hmm.
1 second.
And I'm probably only going to use the first 10 verses.
Okay. No problem. No problem. Okay.
Okay. All right. Ooh, good grief. Now, Elder, I can tell you now, I ain't gonna do too great on these names.
Don't worry about it, bro. Just start at the second verse. We're good.
Okay, good. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. But just so they could get context. The gentleman that they're referring to, he has two wives. Okay, so now verse 2, he had two wives. The name of one wife was Hannah, and the name of the other wife was Peninnah. Okay, and Peninnah had children, but Hannah had no children. So stop here. We see again that we're talking about a physical understanding of two wives. This is not a spiritual meaning, but we're going to see what happened in the Deuteronomy chapter 17. We're going to start to see this play out a little bit more. You're going to actually hear Hannah tell him, because of the children that he has, that she felt that, hey, do you love me more than the sons that she has given you? Because that's what the children, or excuse me, the sons symbolize to the men. And we're going to also get that as a precept on top of that into Genesis, so I can close out and give you time to talk, because I know you also have people to maybe want to ask questions. So we're going to continue reading here. And this man went up out of the city yearly to worship and to sacrifice unto Yahweh of hosts in Shion. And the two sons of Eli, Hophni and Phinehas, the priests of Yahweh, were there. And when that time, when Eliakim offered, he gave to Phinehas his wife, clearly we see that, and to all of her sons and daughters proportions. Okay. But to Hannah he gave a worthy proportion, for he loved Hannah. But listen to what the Most High did. This is what the Most High did. Okay. But he loved Hannah. So what? The Most High shed up her womb. Okay. And her adversaries also pervert her sore, for to make her fret, because Yahweh had shut up her womb. And as he had did so year by year, and when she went up to the house out of the Lord, she was provoked by her. Therefore she wept and did not eat. Then Elkanah, her husband, to her, then said to her husband Elkanah, Hannah, why do you weep thou? And why thou eatest not? So she had, boy, these people really were scorning her. She started fasting almost. Okay. And now she's going to say, so I'm going back to verse 8, and it says, and why is thy heart grieved? Am I not better than thee to 10 sons? This is what Hannah said to him. Okay, why is that heart grieved? Am I not better to thee than 10 sons? Because see, in their culture, seeing the men producing the children and everything, that was the way that the women would show love to the husband in that culture. And it continues on. So Hannah rose up early, and they had eaten the Shion, and after had drunken. Now Eli the priest sat up on a seat by a post of the temple. And when she was in the bitterness of her soul, she prayed unto Yahweh, and she wept sorely. All right. Now, for time's sake, I'm kind of going to leave it here, only because if you know the story of Hannah, eventually the father hears her prayers, and she does have Samuel. And if I'm not mistaken, it is told not to touch his hair. Okay. So, but we also are able to get a concept and a precept of understanding that the father made provisions for the inheritance, and Athens, I can't pronounce his name, followed the code of what the Most High said. So we're going to also show that, first off, the women who understood that they were to build the kingdom of the men were considered blessed by the Most High, and that the Most High blessed them who would continue to help the man build his kingdom. And who would we look for that as a precept? That will be Leah. Okay. Leah, when she had her child, she would say, what? The father has rewarded me for my hire. So because I have given my handmaid.
So who was the wife? Was Leah the wife, or was Rachel the wife?
Leah was the first wife. And Leah and Rachel is the second wife. Why is there a distinction between there should not be a distinction about, oh, Leah the wife or the concubine. These were two versions. We're not talking about he picked up a wife that was maybe come out, from another marriage. He inherited two virgins, so therefore they both have the power to be wives in their own place. Okay.
So this is my question. The same with Ketra, the same with Sarah, the same with Hagar. Ketra married Abraham after he died. Was she a wife or not?
No, I would say that she was his wife.
Okay, so again, we're not playing with context. We plan, see, because I don't do context. What we do, we understand scripture. So now, same as I said, I'm gonna show you.
Everything that I said, I have precepts for. Leah said this out of her own mouth.
Okay, so
I have precepts for that.
Okay, so I'm gonna show you again. I'm gonna show you again where we're gonna look at this. I'm gonna go over here, and I'm gonna look at Genesis. Let's go to Genesis
49.
Actually, yeah, no, that ain't the one I want. We're gonna go to Genesis chapter 25. Let me go to Genesis 25. I'm gonna show you something real close. What we want to see. Let me put this up, and then I'm gonna actually stop because I'm gonna let my other guys come in. Okay, so we're gonna look at Genesis chapter 25 in verse 1 and 2. It says Abraham took a wife and her name was Keturah. And she bared him Zimran, Jakshan, Midian, and Ishbak and Shushan. Now, as again, this not, see, you got to watch this keyword right here, wife. That's not what it's talking about. Only one can actually be a wife. But why? The reason why this wife is here, because she only bare children. How do we know this? I'm gonna show you why they use this and what's going on. We got to remember that Moses sat with the Most High, and he did all this.
Elder, I don't mean to. I'm trying to see.
No. I didn't interrupt you.
That only, no problem. But you're saying that only one woman can be a wife.
No. Okay, again, I didn't interrupt you.
Elder.
I'm getting ready to show you exactly why only one woman can be a wife. So we're gonna go down to First Chronicles, chapter 1, verse 32. Now it says, now the son of Keturah, the same one, Abraham's who?
Concubine.
Oh, okay. Zimran, Jakshan, Midian. So the same thing. The function of a wife is the same as one that can bear children. That's all it's talking about. The duties of a wife is bearing children. No matter what, you only have one wife. That's the key that you need to keep in mind. That's why I was saying, and we're going to also see it again, where we'll see, and we'll go to Genesis, and we're going to look at something real clear there. We're going to go to Genesis chapter 16, because it's only going to be one wife all the time. And we're going to clear all that up. Genesis chapter 3, it says, and Sarah, Abraham's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abraham had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband to be what? Abraham's wife. Really, all she's saying is to be the bearer of a child, because I'm going to clear that all up. Now, watch this, verse 5. And Sarah said unto Abraham, my wrong is upon me. I have given my maid into thy bosom, and I saw that she had conceived and was despised in her eyes, and the Lord judged between me and thee. But Abraham said, behold, thy maid is in thy hand, do to her which he pleased. But I thought he was married to her. She didn't do anything but bear children. And Sarah dealt with her hardly, and she flee from her face. Why? Because it's nothing more than what it is. Why? Let's go to verse 20. Let's go down to chapter 21 and make more of this clear. 21, we're going to look at verse 9. It says, Sarah saw the son of Hagar, it don't say anything else, which she had bore unto Abraham, mocking. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, cast out this what? She's a slave. And her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Isaac. Made this clear. Abraham was grievous. He was upset, went to the site and because of his son. So Abraham went to who? He went to Yahweh. And God said unto Abraham, what? Let it not be grievous in thy sight because of the lad and because of thy bondwoman. It don't say thy wife, do it. Bondwoman. And that Sarah has said unto thee, hearken unto her voice, and Isaac shall the seed be called. And also the son of the bondwoman, I will make a nation because he is thy seed. That was it. And what did he do? He put them both out. Why? Because that's all it is. So we got to understand what a wife means. We got to understand what wives mean. They don't mean nothing but somebody that's born children. That's all it meant. It's only one wife. How do we know this? I can take you to many other scriptures to show you to where actually I'm going to show you a couple of them to where he tells you. Same thing like I asked you earlier. Are you in the image of God? If you are, watch how God runs, because he tells you the same thing. Now, how is it so? And he says in Amos chapter 3, verse 2, only you have I known of all the families of the earth. He's not hoeing around. But if you're in the image of him, but what you're doing, you're looking at flesh and you're not looking at the spirit, because this book is written out that way. So this is part of the problem.
All right. Can I finish on my precept for Genesis? Yeah. As I was saying, in Genesis chapter 23. I'm sorry, Genesis chapter 20. Wait, I'm sorry. I think you had another elder or something. He had a question or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Is he ready? If he's not ready, then I'll go to get this.
Yeah. I got Elder T up there, and I got Elder Smith. Do one of y'all have a question?
Yeah, if they have a question, I can stop right about now before I give this.
Okay. Yeah, I think one of them do.
I don't have a question, Elder.
Oh, okay. No, you don't. Elder T?
I was going to address the question of why is he reading out of the CEPHER Bible if he say he's Israel and he's reading from a book written by a Gentile? That's my first question to ask you. Why are you promoting or reading from a book that's written by a non-Israelite?
Well, I mean, in all honesty, I don't know which book you're about to get that's directly written by us. I mean, all of these books with all
the King James Bible, the King James Bible is written by King James.
It's translated by King James. All of these are versions. All of these are versions. Every Bible that you have is a version. And,
okay. So what's the version?
Like
if it was translated by King James, so Mark, you still didn't answer the question. Why are you promoting and reading from a book written by a Gentile or non-Israelite? If we all know that
I haven't promoted this book. I don't see where I'm making money off of this book at all. And again,
he's not saying that. No, he's not saying that. He's just saying you supporting something that was not just not.
What way did I support, Elder? I clearly said earlier to you before we started the show. I said, hey, whichever preference you have to open, you have. I understand what everyone is saying, but for me, when it comes down to this word, I'm gonna get that word wherever it is. Okay, so to try to entangle that into one Bible is an issue, because if you understand how translations have come upon, then you will even understand that there's going to be an issue with all of them. That's just there. Because why? One, translations. Why? Another issue is you're translating from a concrete language to a concrete language to a abstract language.
Yeah. So I got one question, my brother. I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you something, then I'll let you finish. I promise you that. So with that said, I'm gonna ask you a question. Okay. And this is real simple because we're gonna deal with translations. Now, you see right here is a comma. You see right there a comma. You see right here is a colon. I'm gonna go down some, and we should run into it. And we got a semicolon right here. Can you tell me what those are?
Punctuations.
Okay, so what is a comma for?
It's a break in this for a run-on sentence.
Okay, yeah, it's not asking. Well, what is this colon for?
It would be, how would I say, like it's almost like the I guess the comma. It's like somebody making an announcement almost.
Okay, and what is a semicolon for?
Kind of off the top of my head, I don't remember perfectly.
Okay, so I'm gonna share something with you, my brother. This comma, that comma is there to give you more clarification of what I already spoken. This colon here is going to tell you complete understanding on what was said beforehand. When you get to a semicolon, the semicolon actually changes direction and it'll tell you about something else. So the main thing is, even with that CEPHER Bible, that CEPHER Bible actually uses those and actually don't know what it's speaking of, because I can actually show you all kind of heresies in there that's there. That's why that elder has it. But the main thing is where you saying you got to run into any book. That's the issue that Elder T has, because you want to go to any book, and you shouldn't be running to any book, because every book, as I just showed you, even with that Halil problem, you're going to go into different books to where you're going to get different doctrines, different understanding.
With all due respect, I understand his concern, but if he's a true Bible scholar like I am, then anybody will understand that, with all due respect, that you should not limit yourself to just one Bible. It will be ludicrous to do that, knowing that King James himself did not get the original translations. King James got the Bible from the Texas Receptus, which is
they got inspired with the book. That's what they told you. No, see, you telling me something that you was told. But that,
Okay, so then no, that's not what I was told. So then where's the King James translated from?
what? No, the King James Bible was translated from Hebrew and Greek.
From Hebrew and Greek. So they got it from the Latin text, the Textus Receptus, as I was going.
No. That's what they telling you it came from. Again, that's
okay. So the Textus Receptus is a Greek and a Latin text. Elder.
Let me show it to you. I'm gonna show you where what you're talking about, and then let me see.
Excuse me, Elder. Could you go to Ecclesiastes 12:12 for him also?
Okay, let me hit Ecclesiastes 12:12. And then we want this brother to go ahead and go there to it. 12:12. Let me pull it up. And okay. 12:12.
I'm sorry, Ecclesiasticus.
Oh, Ecclesiasticus.
Yes, I always say it wrong.
Okay, Ecclesiasticus. 1 second. That's your Ecclesiastes 12. You said 12:12?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Regarding many books, be admonished.
No, I was just there. That's Ecclesiastes 12:12.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I looked. I didn't see it when you pulled it up.
Yeah, let me go back there. Ecclesiastes 12:12. Yeah, that's where I was just there. 12:12.
It's still there, Elder. It's still there.
I know. Yeah, that.
It was still there. You were selected and it was still there.
Oh, okay. There we go. Right there. It's 12:12. And further by these, my son, be admonished of making many books. There is no end, and much study is weariness of the flesh. And that's the one he's sharing with you.
Yeah, and it's just saying that you're gonna be tired from studying.
No, my brother. It's saying many books.
Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead and tell me now.
No, it's saying many books because we look at Isaiah 34:12. What do 34 and 16? What do it say?
As we were saying, what precept upon precept? Which one are you talking about?
No. I'll run to it and I'll show it to you. Isaiah 34 and 16. But I do want you to go back because I do know you were trying to bring something out, so I got to give you back your.
All right, no, go ahead and run with what you were saying first, Elder. So I don't lose. Okay.
Okay. So I'm gonna go right back over here. 1 second. 34 and 16. And watch how he plays on this. It says, "Seek ye out of the book of the Lord." That's singular, one book. And read. No one of these is plural. Letting you know it's books within the book. No one of these should fail. None should want her mate. So you shouldn't be joining anything to this book. Now that is going to give you more clarification. For my mouth have I commanded, and his spirit has he gathered them. And they contain in one book, not in many books. That's the issue. And I'm talking, this is all through scripture, my brother. This is all through scripture.
Yeah, but Elder, that is correct, but he's not relaying it into that context of that one, because then that would be for us to say then we're only sticking with first of all, we have to understand that back in those times it wasn't books, they were scrolls. All right. So when he's saying there's only one book, he really saying there's only one form of scroll for instruction is what he's trying to tell them, and it's whatever he has given for an instruction. Okay, so that is really what that's trying to relay right there to us. And again, the English language can detour you, because if you're not understanding of how everything was presented in the setting, then you can be detoured with that part.
So we just went through some commas and everything else, and just like I keep saying, I'm extremely well versed in English language. I'm extremely well versed in Hebrew.
Yes, sir. But Elder, as we have been on, I think maybe one time you have used that CEPHER, and after that you have ran with the KJB. And
no, I went to the CEPHER Bible to show you the screw up.
Yeah, but I'm
I
just
didn't
saying,
use it.
like,
I didn't
I
use it
have
to teach on.
no form of ties to this CEPHER Bible. You've been reading from King James, and I haven't complained.
Yes.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, scholarly wise, to the other elder, I'm going to, again, if that word under a rock, I'm going to lift that rock up and I'm going to find it. I'm going to find it. I'm going to find it. So that's the understanding.
So
I don't want
technically,
anybody to understand that I'm supporting any of these things. Like I said, they're more accessible to me. And again, with all due respect to the King James Bible, they use Jesus. I'm not using that name.
okay. So technically what you're saying, and I'm gonna hold my respect to you on that. Technically what you're saying, you're not gonna hold to one book. You're gonna go get information from wherever you can get it. Is that what you're saying?
Cain, what does Daniel say? What did he say when he told Daniel to do what? Come
So
on now, you said it's precept. Now I'm not gonna talk to you
So
if it's precept behind what I say, elder.
No, I'm asking you, my brother. So
I'm giving my answer through precept.
yeah, but precept, okay, as we just went with Isaiah 34:16. But all I'm asking you, so no matter what, you're gonna seek, and see, and I think that's where the issue is with Elder T. So you're gonna seek information out of anybody's book to which you see as truth.
Not what I see is true. It's not about what I see is truth. Again, I mean, this is something off the record. I fast a lot. I pray a lot. I do everything not by my own understanding. I can get confirmation on something that it is what it is, and if the Most High still haven't fully confirmed it, I don't move. Again, when you look at this situation, if you understand the history of us, how we have been scattered, I'm sorry, I can't leave anything to turn the chance to say,
Wait, hey, you went out. You went out. Your mic went out. Minister MAKKABI, your mic went out. Oh man, I'm talking about it went kind of bad.
hello, can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but it's like you on a faraway phone. Now we had Marcus. Did Marcus, you had a question? Marcus, did you have a question? If not, I'm gonna move you back to the other area. Yeah, let me. Yeah, because we have people putting up their hands, but
It was a woman on the screen.
Okay, elder. How do you hear me now, elder?
oh, you back good. You back good, my brother.
Okay, sorry about that.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you go ahead and bring back out your piece, and then I'll let people ask questions from that point. But yeah.
Okay. Okay. As I was saying, we're gonna go to Bereshit or Genesis, elder.
Okay.
And again, if you guys don't prefer that I use the CEPHER, that's why when I was talking to you, I was saying, hey, what's your prayer? I understand what you guys are saying.
Okay.
I'm just still saying within that. If you guys prefer that I don't, it's no problem. I can swing it with KJ or whatever you want. I'm very versatile, and that's the reason why I'm that way. Because if somebody else is not using it, then I can't converse with them onto a certain thing. So I do my best to scrap everything. You know what I'm saying? So
so if you want to use the CEPHER and read from it, you can. If not, I can put this up there.
Yeah, no, we've been doing good with you putting up the information, and I read it from the screen, and it's better so everybody can see it.
Okay.
So you can go to Genesis chapter 29 for me, please.
29.
Mm-hmm.
And let me put this up. And then we have a Simpson that we're gonna bring up after. And then I don't know if they have a question or not. You want me? Well, you want me at minister?
Okay, let me make sure I'm getting the right verse. Okay.
All right, no problem.
Okay. All right. Now, and again, we're going to go to we can go ahead and start at 26.
Okay.
Okay. And
got you.
We're going to start at 26. And before we start there, we understand that Jacob came over here and he's basically working for Leah. He's already worked for Leah. Then he's going to work for Rachel. Then he's going to get Rachel. And then eventually he's going to be given, um, uh, but not Bilia. I'm sorry.
Mhm.
But to revert back unto what the Most High did, I'm just going to read down here at the bottom. Then I'm going to go further up. And the reason why I'm doing this is to give you context of what what Deuteronomy chapter 21 was saying, the one who was loved less or unloved. All right. So we're going to show again that the Most High was blessing Leah because she was what? She was the unloved. So we saw the same thing with Hannah, that Ethican, when we was reading in the book of Samuel, that the Most High had basically closed the womb of Hannah, and it was because she was heavily loved that the Most High threw the firstborn blessings and proportions upon Peninnah. Okay, so what we're going to see here also for more context is that the same thing is going to happen with Leah. Okay, and the Most High is going to say it itself. Okay, so we're going to see it here in verse 31, and then it says, when Yahweh saw that Leah was unloved. Okay, and we have to first ask ourselves, if him having multiple wives were unjust and unruly and not something that he would want to be done, then listen to this next verse. It says that he opened her womb, but Rachel was barren. So Leah conceived and bore a child and called his name Reuben. Then she said, the Lord has surely looked upon my affliction. Now, therefore, my husband will do what? Love me. Stop. We're going to continue to see the same thing as I was trying to draw the understanding in the first in Samuel, that the Most High is actually following his own order that he gave in Deuteronomy. Because Leah is least loved, he's given the first blessings unto Leah, because Rachel is way more loved. And it is not until Rachel has enough children that the Most High feels satisfied that he will then release Rachel so she can have children. Okay, so but we're going to continue to read here, and I'm on verse 34, and we're going to go into chapter 30 right after this. And then it says again, verse 34, she conceived again, and she said, now this time my husband will be attached to me, because I have bore him 3 sons. Therefore she called his name Levi. And she bore to him again, and she said, now I will give praise unto Yahweh. Hallelujah. Sorry, just had to make sure every time I read that verse, gotta give praise. Therefore she called his name Yehuda or Yahawada. Then she stopped bearing. Okay. So if you don't mind, we're getting ready to go into chapter 30. I'm sorry, did I skip one? Yeah, I did.
No,
Yeah.
no, I just rolled it back up.
Oh no, it wasn't you. No.
Oh,
Hold on. It wasn't you, Elder.
okay. This is 30.
Okay. All right. Now, so as we're gonna continue to read, I'm just gonna read a little more. We're gonna read down into 15, and then I'm going to stop. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. And then it says, now when Rachel saw that she bore children, I'm sorry. Now when Rachel saw that she bore children, she bore Jacob no children. Rachel envied her sister and said to Jacob, give me children or else I'll die. This is again the culture taking effect. And Jacob anger was aroused against Rachel and said, am I in the place of the Most High? So wait a minute. He's saying, don't make this seem like it's something of me. This is the Most High doing all of this. I have no authority over this. It is the place of the Most High. Okay. So, and she said, so she said, here's my handmaid, Bilhah, go into her, and she will bear a child on my knees, that I will also have children by her. Then she gave him Bilhah and her maid as a wife. And Jacob went into her, and Bilhah conceived and bore a son. Then Rachel said, God has judged my case, and he has heard my voice and gave me a son. Therefore, she called his name Dan. And Rachel conceived again and bore Jacob a second son. And she said, with great wrestling, I have wrestled with my sister. Indeed, I have prevailed. And she called his name Naphtali. And when she saw that she had stopped, excuse me, verse 9, when Leah saw that she had stopped bearing, she took her maid and gave Yaakov and gave to Jacob as a wife. And Leah made Zephyr bore Jacob a son. Then Leah said, a troop comes. So she called his name God. And Leah made Zephyr bore Jacob a second son. And then Leah said, I am happy for the daughter. I am happy for the daughters will call me blessed. So she called his name Asher. Okay.
So
Now we're going to go. I'm about to be done now, Elder. So now that last verse of what I was showing, that when the woman is understanding of the will of the Most High, this is the way that they will react, because Leah gave her handmaid. So we're going to verse 17. Okay, and it said, and Yahweh listened unto Leah, and she conceived again and bore him a fifth son. And Leah said, Yahweh has given me my wages. Hold on. Yahweh has given me my wages because I have given my maiden to my husband. So she called his name Issachar. And then Leah bore again to him a sixth son. And Leah said, Yahweh has endowed me with a good endowment. Now my husband will do well with me because I have brought him six sons. So as we can see, the Most High continue to bless him within the system, and it cannot be detoured of these are women. There's no form of backing out to understand that, hey, these are women that he's doing all of these things to. There's no form of room to understand to say that the Most High himself blessed them while doing it. And the women realized that the Most High was blessing them, and they also said it. So I yield.
Okay, so again, is where you saying the Most High blessed them. And this ain't what happened. So right here it tells you, go right back in this verse. It says, and Jacob anger was kindled against Rachel. And he said, I'm in God's stead, who withheld thee the fruit of thy womb. Why? Because Leah had a child. So what did Rachel do? God didn't do this. You saying God did this and God didn't do it. The same thing with Sarah did, it did with Abraham, did the identical thing. What they do? They gave their handmaids to their husbands to do what they did. At no time do you see where God sitting there saying he was blessing this. She gave Bela her handmaid to wife. Again, what wife means? Somebody who's just gonna bear children. And Jacob went into her, and Bela conceived and bare a son. It don't say nothing that God said, but Rachel says this, and she said, and Rachel said, God had judged me and have also heard my voice. He didn't hear anything. She's telling you this the same way she stole that stuff from her daddy. However, she called his name Dan. Dan also got kicked out the kingdom. But however, we're going to go down a little bit more. And Bela, Rachel maid, conceived again and bare a second son. So again, Rachel said, a great wrestle, and I have wrestled with my sister and I prevail. Meaning what? God don't have nothing to do with this. This is all fleshly stuff. They going back and forth. And when Leah saw that she was left bearing, she took Zipporah. Now, what did she do? It don't have nothing to do with God. She took her handmaid, the same thing what Sarah did, taking people, going to it, and gave her to Jacob to what? To bear children, because that's all a wife do, doing the duty of bearing children. And Zephyr, Leah's maid, bare Jacob a son. And Leah said, a troop cometh, and called his name Gad. And Zephyr, his maid, bare Jacob a second son. And Leah said she was, and Leah said, happy am I of the daughters came me blessed, and called his name Asher. Now, and Reuben went the days in the harvest, found mandrakes, and this is where they went all through the stuff. But watch what happens. And the same thing, we're going to go right back down, and we're going to see what happened. Verse 16, and Jacob came out of the field in the evening, and Leah went out to meet him and said, thou must come in unto me For surely I have hired thee with thy son mandrakes, and lay with me that heard that lay with her that night. And wait a minute, now we're gonna see what God did. God hearkened unto who? Leah. You don't see that with none of the ones when they were doing this. And she conceived and bare Jacob a fifth son. And Leah said, God has given me. Yeah, we know God did it because God hearkened to Leah. It tells you that in verse 17. We ain't talking about manly stuff where women is giving their children. This ain't something that God ordained. Why? Because it's telling you this right there in the text. However, you saying this is how we're doing, but they doing fleshly things because they're not bearing children. So they're making other people bear children for them and they claiming them. That's what was going on from the entire time. Don't have nothing to do with what you're saying. And then it said, giving my maiden to my husband, and she called his name Issachar. And Leah conceived again and bare Jacob a sixth son. And Leah said, God have endured me with a good dowry, and my husband doeth with me, because I have borne him six sons. And she called his name Reuben. So we know clearly right here what's going on. And then afterwards, she bare a daughter and called her name Dinah. And then God remembered Rachel and hearkened unto her and opened her womb. Now God opened up her womb. And what did she do? She bare a son. It was taken away what my reproach, and she called his name Joseph. That's the first child that Rachel did. Why? Because Rachel was nothing more than a concubine of nothing but one that bearing children. All the other women was doing just that. And you can see right here, and we can actually see right here, it says God remembered Rachel. That's all he's saying. So what? And she conceived. You don't see God mixed in with those other women at all. However, this is what was going on. Now, I don't know if these other brothers have something that they want to bring in there. I want to bring up this Kemet. I want to see Kemet Simpson. Did you have a question, or your hands just up?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead, my brother.
No, sir. I really wanted to implement, hopefully, a little bit of clarity, because listening to this debate, I really want to say that first of all, peace to everybody on the panel and everybody listening, and may Father bring edification to us, because we're all here for the same reason, and that's to seek truth and to fine tune it to the point to where we're in synchronicity and harmony with the Father. And I just want to add to the little brother, Minister MAKKABI, that I think what you're missing, little brother, is that you're looking at it from a fleshly perspective or an earthly perspective. And Elder Johnson is trying to get you to look at it from the spiritual perspective, which the Father is writing through his word. And I too, when I was in my youth, suffered with a bunch of agonizing reading through different versions of books. But when I got to the King James Version and saw that there are terms, words, phrases in there that are in other books that will help fine tune our spiritual understanding, that's when I began to grow, you understand, and prosper. There's a verse that say that we must serve the Father in spirit and in truth. Yeah. And searching for him from a fleshly or earthly perspective, we're not going to get to him. We're going to be like those in Matthew 7, I believe, starting at 19, where they say that on that day, many will say unto me, Lord, Lord, they will not do all these manner of labors in your name. You're going to say, depart from me, I know you not. Because when you go to search for him and you search for him from the flesh, we're not going to get it. There was just a Bible study that this brother Elder Johnson did the other day, and in it he alluded to he was speaking with the lady. He let the lady speak, and she alluded to the soil. We are the ground. The word is the seed, and that seed planted in us is one seed in one ground, and you have to cultivate your seed properly, spiritually, for it to grow and bear fruit. The fruit that you're looking for, you want to defend the flesh, little brother, and that's not going to work. And I'm not here to bash you, and I'm not here trying to lift up no man. I'm just lifting up right. And we can't do this through the flesh. You understand what I'm saying? First Peter 4:2 tell us that we no longer live the rest of this time in the flesh as the or to the lust of men, but to the will of God. That's what we here for. We searching out his wisdom and understanding. And I hope that that'll add a little bit. I don't want to be too long-winded or ramble on something, but I really hope that that'll help fine-tune what we're really seeking out, or what this misunderstanding is all about. Because we're not supposed to multiply flesh unto our sexually desire. That's lust, bro. If Father give you one wife to love you and stand with you through right and wrong, that's the one that your wife you honor. That's the one he gonna hear your prayer for. Because if you ain't doing right by that woman, it's a verse in the book say he not gonna hear your prayer. Please let him hear your prayer. Read your book and really read it and study so you get a spiritual understanding, and not through just your flesh and what you've heard other beings speak in just so-called philosophical, educational environments to make them sound good. I've been there, done that. Shalom to everybody, and I hope I added some clarity. And if not, please forgive me for being wrong to you, brothers.
And I appreciate the message, my brother. And I want to point him to one thing, and just to let everybody know, he's a really, I'm talking about most respected. He's a real cool brother. So that's why we're sitting there. I give him the floor. He's a real cool brother. But I think that's what Elder T and them, everybody trying to get him to see something. But I want to show him something, even in Jeremiah in 12:12. Because the brother seemed like he really truly seeked that study, and that's why, I be honest, I like the brother, and besides looking like my nephew, but I really like the brother, because he literally looked like my nephew. But we're gonna look at something real quick. Even though I can run you to a bunch of other scripture, then I'm gonna give the brother back the floor. He's our guest. In the main thing, we're gonna look at Jeremiah chapter 12 and verse 12. And it says, the spoilers are come upon all the high places through the wilderness, where we are right now. And the sword of the Lord shall devour the one end of the land, even to the other end of the land, which he gonna separate us. No flesh shall have peace. So we know this is the main thing that is happening. But this is why he even tells you this in Galatians chapter 2. And he makes this clear as day. We're gonna see the works of Paul. Works of Paul, and in many other places which you can run in there. Paul in 2 and 16. And it tells you right there, knowing that man is not justified by his works of the law, but by the faith of Yahushua the Messiah. Even we have believed in Yahushua the Messiah, that we might be justified by the faith of Christ, not by, you ain't talking about flesh at no time, and not by the works of the law, for by the works of the law shall no flesh, having these multiple wives, be justified. None at any time. Why? Because it tells you, even from the beginning, where it gets into Romans 7:1, where he started talking about this different things. But let me be quiet and get his brother back to Florida. Need to prove his point on this side. And then I'll turn it over to anybody else if you wanted to do it.
Shalom unto
And I think Brother John Small is going to address something, but go ahead.
Okay. Shalom unto the gentleman who gave his comments before. Let me set this stage now, because I don't want this to continue to go this way. Rather it be because I find this a little belittling that we can come up here and do all of this, and though maybe the CEPHER Bible probably was used maybe twice, but the rest of the verses have been shown in the King James. Don't know why we continue to mention that, but nevertheless, with anyone to say that we're living in the flesh, again, we're living in whatever the Father has given us provisions to do. And if the Father has allowed the man to do it, it is not for someone else to come and say to him that he's living fleshly. The Father has gave that provisions to do. I have given the information of showing that not only does the Father allow this, but he has made provisions within this, and this is in his Torah. And with all due respect unto Paul or any of the New Testaments, I'm not a person that tell you that, oh no, I'll do away with the New Testaments. That's foolishness. However, the New Testament does not trump the Old Testament at all. And especially with all due respect, the letters of Paul are just what they are. They are letters first. Okay. Everything that I gave you today were quoting from the Old Testament where Yahweh is speaking. Paul does not trump Yahweh. So that's with all due respect unto that. Secondly, when we deal with looking at this stage of patriarchal marriage, because I don't address it as polygyny. Okay, I don't address it as polygyny. That's something that someone come into our culture, viewing our culture, and labeled a name on it. Okay. Thirdly, to understand that the Bible says, hearken unto the Torah of your mother. We believe that we are a people that comes from the land of Africa. And yet, though, Africa will have you to understand that the man is allowed to marry more than one woman. We are over in America where they have Christianized our mindset. And we will say to the brother or to the sister, or to the brother that wants to carry out Torah, that he's living fleshly. Okay. That is understanding what I don't get. But however, again, I go into Exodus chapter 21, where the Father says, and you can pull that up for me, and I know you already addressed that before with me again.
Yeah, but I want you to answer that one. I'm gonna go.
Which one? Which one?
Yeah. Deuteronomy 17:17. Multiply wives.
I did this one at the beginning, Elder. If you want me to go over this again, then no problem.
Yeah, that wasn't addressed. I'm gonna tell you right now, but we're gonna go to Exodus.
Yes, sir. That was Exodus chapter 17 was addressed when I was given the provisions about saying that was a king.
That's not. No, that's okay. That's okay. We'll come
Remember,
back.
and then I said that it shouldn't be the word that shouldn't be multiply. I said it should be increase, greats. It should be the word there multiplied is not accurate.
How was it not accurate? How was it not accurate?
Because when we again go look up it through the, it's saying many or make great or to increase. So the word multiply is trying to convey something in English, and it's not fully being properly understood from out of the Hebraic understanding.
So 1 plus 1 equals what?
But thank you for telling me that 1 plus 1 is 2. But could you tell me, is that adding or multiplying?
Yeah, that's multiplying. Or we can say
I'm sorry, 1 plus 1 is multiplying.
Yeah, that's you still adding another one.
Okay.
You still adding something.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
All right. You can go back down to the verse. We can go away from numbers on it altogether. You have to have proper subject verb agreement. You agree with that?
Proper subject verb agreement. Are you saying within the context?
Yes, you're saying the word increase goes there, right?
And increase. Could you, if you go to the interlinear, it'll break down everything in the Strong's and the Brown's driver. So it's not what I say. It's the people who broke down everything through the interlinear. And we also understand that the words uttered in English does not have the same authority in Hebrew. This is why we use the Hebraic to break down the proper understanding. And that's why I was saying that word is not properly conveying.
So let's take multiply out, and you put in increase, right? That still will be plural, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but it would not convey. It would not. It will. First off, it will. However, it will not. It will not.
Proper verb agreement, right? So it can't say you can increase. You can't increase. It would say neither shall they increase wife. It's improper, right? It has to make it plural.
Yeah,
Regardless.
well, see, we know the word wise wouldn't be there, but you're trying to construct English from a Hebrew, and we know that's not really good because you're dealing with an abstract language from a concrete language.
I
So
totally
that's
get
not
that.
really going to that's kind of hard trying to
Yes.
do on that one.
Okay, my
Yes,
brother.
so
See,
you're
my brother,
going
I'm
here.
gonna tell you 1 second. Well, I'm gonna tell you one thing, my brother. Even how you go into the Strongs and everything else, all those are Yiddish. Those are Yiddish translations. Those are not Hebrew.
Granted, but Yiddish is more ancient than the Hebrew, elder. And I'm sorry,
Really?
more ancient than no, I said that backwards. More ancient than the English. Don't kill me.
No,
Don't kill me.
no. Yeah. Oh no. See,
Don't
cause
kill
we taking Polak in German and they mix it.
Granted, elder, but
That's
however,
what they use
these
in
two
Hebrew.
languages, okay, are what we call a pictographic or sign language compared to English that is just letters. You get what I'm saying? They're two different forms of language that when they're trying to convey a message, the message doesn't always come out proper, is what I'm saying.
How it done if you use precepts?
Say it again.
So we're gonna look at, so is English a language or is it a flavor of a language?
Is it a flavor of a language? I've never heard of that, but I'm
Never
sure
heard of it?
that it is I never heard of the flavor of a language.
Okay, so is Jewish is a flavor of a Jew or is it Jew?
I'm not understanding what you mean by
Okay,
flavor.
let's say, okay, so is Jewish people acting like Jews or is it a flavor of it?
Well, I mean, just the word alone on the word Jewish, that ish is another suffix, but
No,
I
okay, so that
guess what you're
suffix is
trying to say, acting,
they're
they're
acting.
acting as
Okay, now what's at the end of English?
at the end of English,
Yeah,
it's the suffix of ish.
yeah, because we speak a broken language too.
Yeah, but again, elder, with all due respect, you have to know, and I know that English is what we call a bastard language. It's not going to be compared to a more ancient language. And granted, it is what they have a lot of the Yiddish inside of that mixed with the Grecian translation. However, that don't trump that whether it be Yiddish or whether it be Grecian, that if it is the actual and proper text. Okay, so that doesn't trump that. Most of the Yiddish and most of the Grecian, not all of them, keyword, I'm saying most, they convey the proper text. Okay, now
Really?
again, if you don't get that, then you can go to the lexicon to get the proper understanding. If
Okay,
that's
so you keep running me to different books to get proper understanding, and as it says, don't use those books. That's what I'm saying. But you run into other
the
books.
word you're saying that it says that, elder, and I already gave you Daniel, and what he told them to search to and through. We coming in from a land of captivity. Our books have been destroyed in and out, in and out, in and out, elder. So
Okay.
I'm on that issue.
So
So we don't get too
okay.
far. So we can try to center ourselves back on
So
what's going
I tell
on.
you what.
Mhm.
We'll do real quick. Tell you what we're gonna do real quick. Do you have a Strong's Bible? I mean a Strong's
Concordance.
Yeah. I want you to do me a favor. If not, I'm gonna pull one
Yeah,
up.
you're gonna have to pull one. You're gonna have to pull one up.
Okay.
Elder. I don't have one at the time.
In who got them? Who got one?
I'm pretty sure the Interlinear has it. I mean
I
the
don't
Bible
even
Hub.
know, my brother. So where can we?
Hold on. Let me do it.
Yeah,
Hold on.
I'm trying to sit there. Do Bible Hub have it?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Bible Hub has it.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was gonna say I worked on that thing, man, for a couple of days. I need to get something out. I need to get something. I need to get some use out of this. Let me see.
It's again, like I said, it's convenient. But when I got to sit down and study, I don't use nothing digital.
Okay.
It's all books and highlighters.
Well, I'm gonna need your help to help me on this one here.
We'll definitely get through it. Okay.
So
It should be the concordance up at the
you got
top.
a Strong's right there.
In a lexicon right there. See if you needed that as well.
Okay, so what I want to do, we're gonna go here. We're gonna go to King James Bible, and we're gonna go to Genesis chapter 9. and we're gonna get something. Chapter 9, and we want to go to verse 27. And we're gonna look at something there. 1 second. In 27. Now, is this 27? And we want 9:27. Dang it. 9. Yeah, man. This.
Okay, you got it. You got it.
So now, okay, let me.
It's there. You have to.
Okay, but I need verse. Okay, all the verse. Okay, that's why. I told you, man. I apologize. I don't. Okay.
Yeah, you clicking it like 6 times, and I'm like, oh, you got it.
Okay, so now I'm there. So I'm gonna go to King James Bible. Now, that's why I might need you to kick in for me. I might need. Okay, 9:27. Okay, I want this by itself.
All right, what you're gonna do is click full verse, click full chapter. Up here at the top where it says verse, right here next to it where it says verse.
Right. Oh yeah, right
verse.
here.
Okay, click for full chapter.
Okay.
Then once you do that, up at the top, you're going to tell it what you want to do. Now that this the verse
okay.
that you want.
So we want the Strongs.
There you go.
Okay,
now
so let's go to Strongs. Okay, beautiful. So we want 9:27.
All right. So
how do we get to 9:27? Let me see.
Yeah, just click it and it'll drop down because it's doing the Strongs. It's going to break it down little by little.
Okay. So this perfect. Okay, so in it's still in Strong. Okay, yeah, Strong's lesson. Okay,
Strong lexicon.
And it's saying now see right here, it says right here in Strong's. Let's click right here on this word right here. Okay, right where we want to go. Now you see where it says, and he's gonna widen the
spaces or open wide.
Yeah. Okay. You see what this says here? Now I'm gonna show you. Now this is Strong's, correct? Okay. So I'm gonna show you where we got a problem at. Show you where a problem at. Let's go to I believe that is. Let me pull this. I believe this is the one I want. Let me pull this one quick second. Because we know Moses penned all of this, right?
All of which
he penned all the first 5 books, correct?
Look, Elder, I'm a little different than what the rest of them would say. Now,
okay.
But,
no.
I would attest that he was the one who wrote the first 5. Maybe one of those books. Like I just can't see how he would finish Deuteronomy. So,
okay.
But go ahead.
Okay, so we see right here it's talking about Pathal, correct? Okay, so now what I want to do, I'm gonna go to Exodus chapter 34, and it's talking about enlarge. If you look at the Bible and you look at it as a whole, it's gonna tell you enlarge if you look at it. And if one of my other elders have it up there, you'll see, they can look at it and they'll see it's talking about enlarge. And we're going to 24. Okay, 24. Okay, so we got enlarge here. Okay, so now we're going to, I guess we can click here. Okay, now here it says Rakab. And it's telling you to enlarge. The same thing. Now I'm going to show you where this Strong's screwed up. Because Pathal, they kind of got the language correct, but they still got it off. But Pathal means to deceive or to persuade. And I'm going to show you that. And this is where they screw up at. So let's go back to Genesis chapter 9. So this is saying enlarge, and the reason why I said Moses penned all this. So we know Moses wrote Genesis and Exodus. We do know that. We can agree on that, right?
Okay. Okay.
All right. So I just want to make sure we right there. So we're gonna go to 9:27. We're gonna look at something real good there. Okay, 9:27. So he says in 9:27, I want to click chapter, but I don't want that one.
No, you don't want the full chapter. I think it's is it the next verse you're looking for?
Yeah, no, so I want
It's
this
right there. It's right there.
Okay.
Enlarge.
Okay,
But you don't click, you gotta click the now you click
yeah,
the wrong
see,
one.
but dang, now then, wait a minute.
Just press back. Just press back. You good.
Okay.
Click
Which
the
one
top,
I click
never the
on?
bottom, the top one. You got to click the top one where the E
This
is.
one.
Yeah, there you go. There you
Oh,
go.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now you see right here, Pethah is enlarges both. It's in both places. Now I'm gonna show you where they screwed up at, because I guarantee it's in here. And if you go in here, 1 second, because I guarantee it's in here, and it's telling you right here, he's going to deceive, he's going to entice him. Exactly what this is. That's exactly what he's going to do. And I'm gonna prove that to you. So why you see that it's there, that's the reason this is there. But it's telling you clearly to deceive. Why? Because he's going to be in the tents of Shem. That's what he's talking about. Actually, I'm gonna go over here because this one's gonna drive me crazy. And I'm gonna go back to it. Yeah, because man, that one literally gonna drive me crazy. So I'm gonna go back over to 9, and we're gonna look at this real close again over here, because that one gonna literally drive me up the wall. Okay, it says, God shall enlarge Japheth. He's going to deceive Japheth, and he shall dwell in the tents of Shem. So he's going to be in Jerusalem, which belongs to Shem, and Canaan shall be his servant. That's what this says, but I'm gonna prove the point. So let's prove the point, and let's see why. Because now I'm gonna take you to Zechariah, and we're gonna see this, and I'm gonna prove this all the way through. Zechariah in Zechariah chapter 9. And we're gonna look at we're gonna start at verse 5. It says, Ascalon shall see it in fear. Gaza also shall see it and be very sorrowful. And Akron in her expectancy shall be ashamed, and the king shall perish from Gaza. Keep that one in mind. And Ascalon shall not be inhibited. And a bastard shall dwell in Ashdod. Do you know what Ashdod is? What is Ashdod, my brother?
I ain't gonna say it's like
I'm gonna show you Ashdod.
I'm
gonna show you Ashdod, and we're gonna get everything. I'm getting ready to show it to you. Now remember it just said
off the top of my head though.
Now remember it just said Gaza? Watch Ashdod. What city do that tell you?
City in Israel.
Yeah, now watch this. We're gonna click over there. Now remember it said it was next to Gaza, right? This is Tel Aviv, Israel. Watch this. We're gonna go down. Remember Ascalon?
Down all the way down.
Now mind you, we using Google Maps.
Yeah, but we know they don't even have the right Israel over there.
Wait a minute. Now look right here. Gaza. It's telling you what it is, because it never changed. So it's telling you right here what's going on, that these people that's over there right now are bastards, and a bastard should never enter into the congregation of Israel. It tells you that right in the scripture. And shall dwell in where? Jerusalem, which they changed the name. They call themselves Israelis, and now they call themselves, and then they just changed the name of Jerusalem to Israel. So now I'm gonna tell you right now, other Bibles have this off. Why? Because they're gonna mix all this up to where you can't see what the truth is.
Okay. So Elder, really quick, I would like to know, are we saying that the King James Bibles don't have no form of errors?
What I'm telling you is this, and see, and I was up front when we first spoke. I'm very well versed in Hebrew and Greek. I'm a Hebraist, which you probably seen on my thing. And what I do, I read actually in Hebrew, not in Yiddish. I actually read the Bible in Hebrew. I study from Hebrew.
The Masoretic?
No, none of what you see. None of those books what you see.
Yeah, but what version of the Hebrew are you reading?
I'm using the original text. It's not Masoretic. It's not any of those that you see, because what you're looking at is Yiddish. That's what I was trying to tell you from the beginning.
Yeah, but the Masoretic is not Yiddish. They have the Western, they have the Western form. They have the one without diacritics. So it's a lot of different forms. So that's why I'm trying to find out which form.
No, it's not. It's not a lot. It's not a lot of form. But the main thing is with the closest to the Hebrew text is the King James Bible. Because myself was like you. I sit there and I thought other Bibles was closest, but then as I studied out of Israel from another brother that actually where I sat under for I still call myself sitting under him, sat under him for many years, which is Dr. Shaul, which with that, the closest one I seen that comes to it was the King James Bible, because the King James Bible changes things. But the only reason, the same thing, like you see Lord in there, do you know the Most High God uses many different names in there? So the easiest way for them to do it, put Lord to where you know what he's talking about. But technically, if people went under all these different names, it'll screw people up. However, these other Bibles uses different things, and they switch stuff and they change names. And what they do, they go through. So this is what the problem is. This is why, because believe me, none of these brothers, Elder T, nobody actually came at you. Because I'm going to tell you, to be honest, you're truly a good guy. I just can't, you're truly a nice guy. However, we just trying to get you to see something else. And I'm going to tell you, you got a lot of fight in you, but we can never turn you. I already know you'll be hell in high water on the streets. This we know. However, I think this is why they also kicking back and they being real cool and everything, because nobody's coming at you. But the main thing is, if the Bible has an error, so this is what this is what I'm saying. The King James Bible find an error, and you can go back and actually look up what I do. I'm fully actually, if you look at it, and I can actually even show it to you, I'm a Hebraist, but my actual title, I'm a master Hebraist, but I don't use the master part. Meaning what? I try to find errors in the Bible. That's mainly what I do. And the only one I can find errors in, I can find errors in everybody else's Bible. Can't find one in the King James at all. Technically, Evan did it. I've been trying to do it for 100 years. Cannot find it.
Well, Elder, we was talking earlier, and in Acts chapter 12, that's an error, because the Israelites are not celebrating no Easter.
No, it's not saying they're celebrating. That's the thing. You got to remember, they had him in prison. And these other people sit there saying, because what they did, they ran closely to a holiday. So they said they was waiting to after Easter, to after the celebrating of Easter, to where they can actually bring him to the people. But they was already in unleavened bread, which is according to the law. Passover is first, unleavened bread is second.
Unleavened bread.
So that already happened, my brother. So after that already happened, I tell you what, and to show you even this, go to Acts chapter 26, verse 6 and 7. I'm gonna show you who Paul was talking to all the time.
Yeah, no, I don't deny that, Elder. I'm just saying that's an error. That I'm not I'm not denying that, Elder.
You just saying that, no matter what, you just saying Easter is an error.
If the definition of Easter is not the understanding of everything.
The definition of Easter is not what you're seeing in the books that I'm saying. You literally, you answering my question. Clearly you're answering my question. Because what you're doing, you're looking at it, what you're doing, you holding on to to these Septuagints, you holding on to these Strong's Concordances, and looking at what they put in, what flesh is doing. And it clearly telling you, showing you what they are doing. And all you have to do is remove it, and you can see where they messed it up at.
Okay,
Second,
Elder.
that's all I'm saying. I had Elder
What-
Pittman wanted to come up. I wanted to just see.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a real good brother. Yeah, Elder Pittman. And Elder Pittman.
I saw his name popped up.
Yeah,
It said
yeah,
he joined.
he popped
Oh
up.
yeah, yeah. Can you hear me?
Shalom, shalom, Elder. How you doing? We can hear
Shalom,
you.
my brother. I've been listening for hours, and I can say this to all since I've been with Elder and all the debates that we've had.
I'm sorry,
brother,
Elder. You starting to get very low, Elder.
Yeah.
I
You need to
apologize.
speak up, Elder Pittman.
Can you hear me?
Okay, perfect,
Yeah.
perfect. There we go.
Okay.
Mhm.
I want to give kudos to you, my brother. I respect you. I'm telling you, I really do. But also in Acts, and I thought it was saying that what you were saying, but when it slowed down and read it, all it was, they was waiting to after they finished celebrating their Easter holiday,
Yeah.
and then they was going to carry on with the condemnation. So I see what you're saying and what you are talking about. And a lot of things you said too just took me back to seminary and all that. So a lot of your definition and everything that you were saying, even with the text and the Masoretic text and all of that, I remember all that through theology school and all of that in seminary. But when start understanding precepts and really forgetting everything that I was taught through seminary and the strong concordance and the interlinear and all of that. And when I just start letting the Bible, what the Bible does, the King James does, the definition of words, it will give you the definition of that word in other scripture texts.
Sometime in the text it does.
Yeah, and you can go to other books, especially when you deal with the Apocrypha. When you really get into that, you start seeing a lot of things that they have removed and don't want us to know. And that's a big thing. But yes, I had a CEPHER Bible. I had and one of the other ones, the NIV. To me, that's one of the worst ones to use. When you start taking out scriptures, you start taking verses out, and you start putting in little footnotes. They even give you a hint in the footnotes of the next verses that's going to come out anyway. So since I stuck totally with the King James, there hasn't been no confusion with me and all of that. So I'm with you and understand what you're saying, all your studying in scripture and everything too. But yes, Hebrew that's out here, and I was learning it, and it's Yiddish. It's a mixture. And Elder Johnson is the first person I ran across that dealing with Hebrew and tying it in with the King James. It makes a lot of sense. So, but I still want to say again, my brother, I have a high respect for you, man. And I see that you are a student and you're really searching for truth and want to really please the Most High. But we also got to remember too, Satan appears as an angel, and he calls us to appear that we are really getting truth. And so that's the problem. Once I get over that, I haven't had no problem since. So, my brother, I just like to say shalom to you.
Yeah. And Minister
Shalom,
MAKKABI.
shalom, Elder.
Yeah, Minister MAKKABI. Can I offer a favor to you, my brother?
Okay.
I have a precept study Bible that I actually written the precepts and the affiliations in there. But I don't want to sell it to you. I'm going to give it to you.
Okay.
I want you just to go through it. And if you have any issues with it, let me know.
I appreciate that, but it seemed to me what I need to be sitting up under you under is more of the Hebraic studies. That's seems like I'm going to take that precept word and I'm gonna eat it up as you, and I'm pretty sure you
Yeah.
know I will.
Oh yeah.
But
Why do you
I
think I
need
would?
more of the guidance. If you are that in the Hebraic form, then that's where I would be for, because as far as precepts,
Mhm.
everything I have said I have given, and I have not spoken of my own word, because if I speak of myself, then I'm not speaking of it.
Yeah. And this,
So I have given everything that I have said. I provided a precept. I
yeah,
didn't do the famous ones. I didn't go into Samuel, and I didn't go to the ones that they said, oh, you know, the father when he was talking to David. I didn't use the, as they say, the conventional polygyny text. I didn't use the conventional text. I used instead the Torah where the Most High was speaking,
yeah,
and use those as examples. Because to me, it's easy to show something that man did. And that's what you guys are conveying.
yeah,
And
and
that's why I try to do my best to convey it, to show that if the Father's making provisions for it, then it's the understanding that he was allowing it.
and
Understand, it does not mean that man has to do it. It is to his option, because in front of every text, whenever it's dealing with a woman, additional woman, the word that's in front of there is if. So it's not something that somebody has to do. I understand and respect everybody of how they're trying to say, hey, spiritually, but in this little small time that you guys have known me, I don't believe you can be able to obtain the proper spiritual overhead that I will probably have with me. But what I do have for myself is a zeal for the Most High, and I'm always willing to listen and to get understanding, because He said, "And all that you get
yeah,
the
yeah.
understanding."
Also,
So,
I'm gonna show you something.
um,
I'm gonna show you
mhm,
something, and I'm gonna ask you a simple question. See, because I'm gonna tell you something. Once you have the book,
mhm.
I'm not gonna have to do it. You're gonna turn yourself. Because I know, because the reason why, because I know you're gonna tear down the text. Then you're gonna start believing. You're gonna start seeing something that you ain't gonna understand. This, but let me show you this. I want to show you this, and I'm gonna show you why one was saying you need to see it spiritually. I'm gonna show you a simple text.
Mhm.
Okay, we looking at this in John 1:29. I use this all the time. It says, the next day John seeth Jesus, or coming
Mhm.
unto him, and said, behold, the Lamb of God, which taketh away the sin of the world. Can you tell me what this is saying spiritually?
It's saying that HaMashiach is the Passover.
No, that's not what it's saying. Can you read that to me, what it actually says?
It says that then the next day, John sees Yahweh Shai coming, and unto him saith, behold, the Lamb of Yahweh, which taketh away our sin. He's saying that
Okay.
he was going to be the sacrifice that takes away our sin.
Okay, so again, you're looking at a man. So you focused in on a guy. That
Mhm.
ain't what that said. So I want you to remove your focus from the man. What do Yahweh Shai mean?
Yeah, that I said that already, that he was going to take away our
No,
sin.
no, no. But I just want to ask you, what do Yahweh Shai mean?
Oh, it mean that the Yahweh will save, or
Yeah.
salvation.
Okay. Now I want you to read that, what it means, and you remove the name and just tell me and just read what it means.
Dang, I would love to do that, and I'm gonna say Yahweh before I read it, or all praises.
Yeah.
And the next day John saw Yahweh salvation coming unto him, and behold, the Lamb of God, which taketh away the sin of the world.
Exactly the point. So John says salvation coming unto him. Why? And I'm gonna show you why. Because we got to remove the focus from a man. Because we're gonna go to Isaiah chapter 12, verse 2, and this gonna clear it all up. This is why. It says, behold, Yahweh is my salvation. That's clear, that's concrete. We can't change that. I will trust. As you saying, and as you say, you read it, So I know where your zeal is, because your zeal is there. And it says, and not be afraid, for the Lord Jehovah, which is same thing talking about salvation, but they're going to tell you something else in there, is my strength and my song. He also is become my salvation, because Christ got to rest in you. That's all it's saying. So that's why I want to make sure you have it. And that's why I want to make sure me and you stay connected. Because I'm going to tell you something, my brother, as everybody else saying, I have much respect for you. That I do. I have much respect for you, my brother. We got.
Well, at the end of the day, I still appreciate the opportunity. I'm still going to at the time that we're speaking, I'll let you guys in on it. I'm already fasting as we speak. I believe heavily in praying and fasting. They go together. And again, it's something I put before the Most High, but it is a subject that I have put before him before. And he reveals things to me in my dreams a lot of ways. And at first, I could tell you, if I will give you guys a dream, okay? When I was first coming into this truth, I had just got licensed as a minister. I just got licensed as a minister. And there was a gentleman come to give me some information. But even though I was within the truth, I can tell you, even when I was in Christianity, so you'll understand that I was not just a church goer, I was an actual Bible reader. I never kept a Christmas tree in my house. Okay, so I never kept a Christmas tree in my house. Not that I owned. No place that I owned did I ever keep a Christmas tree in my house. Okay, so you will understand that as a Christian, you will come into my house on Christmas and you're looking for a Christmas tree, and you're saying like, "Where's?" And I'm like, when I see that, it lets me know that the person is not, really paying attention to the scriptures. However, I had a dream that when I was walking in my mom's backyard, and my two brothers were working on the roof, but the roof was on the ground. Right. So I walked up to him. Yeah, exactly. You see that face? I'm gonna tell you everything when you're done. The father had to hit me with it. I had to really grasp it. So I walked over to him and I said, "Hey man, what's going on, man?" And I asked them for my younger brother. I said, "Hey, y'all seen my younger brother?" And they said no. So I was about to walk off, and then they said, "Hey, you gonna help us?" And I said, "Nah, look like y'all got it." So then they asked me one more time. Excuse me, I asked them one more time. I said, "Y'all sure y'all haven't seen my younger brother?" And they said, "Oh, he went with his wife." So I said, "Okay." So then they asked me before I left one more time, "You not gonna help us?" And I said, "Nah, y'all got it." And they shook their head. So when I came out of the vision, I kept trying to, see what was going on and everything. So the very first thing was, I said, Most High, what's happening? What's happening? What's going on? What's going on? Trying to get insight. And there was this very stern unction that came over, and it directed me to the parable of where he was given 3 talents to one servant, 2 talents to one servant, and 1 talent to one servant. So when he got down to that last servant, he said, "You are the last servant." So I had to go figure what happened to this last servant. So we know that the parable was the Most High trusted a servant with 3. Then the next one, he trusted a servant with 2. And then the last servant took it and hid it. So the issue is that he called the last servant wicked because what? He took what the father had gave him and hid it, not understanding that the father, whatever he gives you, he gives it so he can come for interest, to collect at a higher value. So he was like, "That's you that man. You have your brothers here doing work that's in vain. Who works on a roof on the ground? That's in vain. That's laboring in vain." And it said they asked you for help and you didn't want to give them help. So he came back to me very stern and said that I have placed you in a position to help others, and you think that you're going to just hide what I have given you, because that's what happened to me. When I had gotten the information and gotten the understanding, I was tight-lipped. I didn't want the arguments. I didn't want that. And he came to me in my dream to chastise me and said, "Not so. If I gave you something, I come to collect interest." So with that understanding, I've been, of course, I haven't been you guys have gotten a very more cleaned, modeled person, I would say, but he has definitely guided me in everything that I'm doing. I'm not going to say that I've paid attention to everything perfectly, but if it's something that he needs to redirect me on, he finds a way to get my attention. And when I was listening to everything that you were saying, I said to myself, I see what he's saying spiritually. Now let's just put it into the context that the Father is, as we said earlier, spirit and truth. Okay. So we're dealing with spirit very well, and that's very good. But you still have to be able to apply truth. You can't have one or the other. The Father is both. Okay.
Yep.
So best as I can, everything that was asked of me, I provided truth with spirit and the understanding of precept with the word. And I'm just grateful that the opportunity came, whether people was able to fully turn or not, but at least we can see that this dialogue can be had without the heavy arguing and the callings of names. All of that stuff has no place for his word. I am here and I'm 32 years old. And when you talk to me, I acknowledge you as an elder from the day that you called me, and I have not shied away then. If I was around you, I'll stand up, because the word says that, get around your elder, you meet them, you stand up. So for me, I am a to the T about the Bible, but don't get me wrong, I become very spiritual when the Father allows it, or when need be it, I guess, if that makes more sense.
Oh, yeah.
And I appreciate all of the love and all of the understanding of your audience, and even the people on the panel. And I thank you guys for your concern, and I ask that you continue to keep me in prayer for edification, and that the Father will continue to use this ministry or whichever ministry to bring forth truth.
Man, whatever. I'm gonna tell you, my brother. I got some people want to talk. I'm gonna tell you, my brother. You all good with me. You all good with me. I got people. I got Sister Cole up here. I think.
Hey, Elder.
Hey, how you doing? Shalom.
Shalom, family, and shalom to the young brother. I just have one question. Because you said something that kind of resonated with me when you said you've been hit. Now, we've been here almost 2 hours, and you said you have visions and dreams, and you've been hit. So what makes you think that Yah is not hitting you right now? That's my question. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. Sister Cole. I think that was to you, my brother.
Yeah. And shalom, Sister Cole, Barakatah unto you. For me, I felt that I received the hit in the reverse order. The hit was to bring enlightenment onto the situation. I saw the video, and I saw everybody seeing that they want answers. It just, in my understanding of everything, it just seemed like people had questions or was not fully understanding. And I just wanted to bring clarity. And to be honest with you, it was a friend who brought this to my attention, and I told him, honestly, I don't really watch too much videos. I don't care for them. I do a lot of studying on my own, and I rely on my prayer and fast. But he wanted me to watch it, and just me seeing some of the things that was there, it was an unction to participate. So I will say that the Father gives me these unctions, and I can't control them, and I haven't received no unction to go opposite as well. But if He give it to me, you can rest in assured, I won't be fighting that unction. Sorry, it's not about me.
And the best thing about it is, I believe you 100%. So, and I think Elder Smith, he went to.
Shalom. Shalom, sir. I just wanted to get a clarification on your viewpoint. You never finished what you thought what Cornelius was. Was he Italian in your mind, or was he an Israelite?
Shalom, Elder. For me, when I look at the text, I will honestly, personally feel that Cornelius is an Israelite. However, he had, through lineage reasons or purposes, they have been grafted toward the label them as Gentiles. Not that they are Gentiles, because we know that the Gentile could be used more as an adjective than again as a noun. Okay, so we're just saying somebody who's on the outside, if that makes more sense. When you go to look at it, we know that Gentiles can mean a race, which we know that is the race of Japhat, or it can be as a group of people that's on the outside of Israel. Okay, not that they're not Israel, but on the outside. And it could be on the outside of the covenant. So for me, believing that if Cornelius was Israel, will still say I'm in limbo. I have not done any study, but I will say I wouldn't deny that he is an Israelite.
Can I give you a comparison? We have Israelites in this country today, right? And you have ones who are in the military. So you can say the same there of the American band.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying, sir?
I think he went off for to do something.
Cain, no. I can hear him. Cain, Elder. I understand that we can be scattered all across the world.
Yes.
In regards to that. But just in again dealing with that regard, and the reason why I'm a little hesitant to nail Cornelius as so is because the Father had to give Peter a vision. Okay, he had to give Peter a vision, and because he had to give him that vision, it lets me know that Peter more than likely was not going to deal with Cornelius had he not got that vision.
Okay.
So that's it's not that I wouldn't label Cornelius not a Israelite. It's just that I have a hard time because of that reason. Now, if you guys can find a reason to drop that, then I kind of subside and just like, okay, he's an Israelite, you know.
Okay, so even with Acts 12:2, I'm gonna pull it up. Let me see. Let me get to it. So Acts 12:2 is what was going on, and we're gonna look at it in. Is this Acts 12? Wait a minute. Oh no, 1 Corinthians. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about something else. 1 Corinthians 12:2. I don't know what I'm doing. 12:2. And it said, and he tells you right here, know ye that you was Gentiles carried away unto dumb idols, even as ye were led. So Paul even addressing Hellenists. These were Jews acting like Gentiles, because Gentiles always worship dumb idols. That's something they always did. They never changed. And the main reason why, you got to remember, over in the Romans captivity, what happened is they just got out of the Greek captivity. So when you look at that in its full entirety, when you go to First Maccabees, you go to First Maccabees chapter 1, and you get down to verse 41, you see moreover King Antiochus wrote to the whole kingdom that we should be one people. Now then everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathens agreed according to the commandments of the king. Yea, many also Israelites consented to his religion and sacrificed unto idols and profaned the Sabbath. But you'll see, he told them one thing, but you'll see as it goes down, he started getting stricter and stricter. And what happened? We're going to jump down to verse 48. It says that they should lead their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and provocation. Why? Because it's going to get, you're going to see it's going to get more deeper into it. It says, and at the end might forget the law and change all the ordinances. And whosoever would not do according to the commandments of the king, he said he should die. This is why they started having that problem over there. This is why Timothy wasn't circumcised, because they just came out this captivity. And this is what was going on. And it gets worse as it goes down. This is what we're going, so that's why it's verse 55, and drove the Israelites into secret places, even whosoever could flee, succor it. And then on the 15th day, the day of month Chesalud, the 145th year, they set up abominations of desolations upon the altar and built idols and built idol altars throughout the cities of Judea on every side, and burnt incense at the door of their houses and in the streets. And they had rent in pieces the books of the law, which they found, and burned them with fire. Why? You know, whosoever was found with the book of the testament, or if any committed to the law, the king commandment was that they should be put to death. This is what was going on. This is why the Israelites was acting the way they was acting, because they've been going through this for a while. And thus did they by the authority unto Israelites every month. So now we got Israelites who's working for this nutty king, and they doing this stuff because they know how to operate it. And many were found in the cities. And now on the 5th, on the 5 and 20th day of the month, they did sacrifice upon the altar, which was upon the altar of God, at which time, according to the commandment, they should be put to death certain women. Why? That they caused their children to be circumcised. How did they do it? And hang the infants about their necks and raffle the houses and slew them that had circumcised them. Howbeit, and many Israelites were fully resolved and confirmed in themselves not to eat any unclean thing. This is what was going on the entire time. And that's why I said it was a great wrath upon Israel, because this is what they was doing. So when they went out the Greek captivity, they went right into the Roman one. And that's why you see many of them was Hellenists, and it was called Grecians, because technically just saying Hellenists, technically all was happening.
Elder.
But you know,
Elder.
Yeah, right there. Can you hear me?
Okay.
You said they came out of Greek captivity and went into Rome. That's the same thing that took place in Acts the 12th chapter when you brought out about Easter. That's why they would celebrate Easter. It's not as they say in the Christian church, it wasn't a translation error. They actually was celebrating the feast of Ishtar.
Yeah, exactly the point.
Because if you look at the beginning of chapter 12.
Oh, okay. I get what you guys saying. You guys are saying because they were pagan, they really were celebrating Easter. It's not a translation error.
No, it's not a translation error. It's nowhere in there, my brother. That's what we're saying. We're not saying Easter and Passover is one of the same.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, we're not saying they're the same, because
no, I get what you're saying now.
Okay.
You're saying because the people that was hosting them was pagan, that they were celebrating Easter.
Yeah,
you get
exactly.
what I'm saying? They were celebrating. Okay.
Yeah, exactly the point.
Okay.
You look at the beginning of Acts.
Okay.
King Herod, king, and he was on.
One second. Let me pull it up. 1 second.
That's who threw Peter. That's who was dealing with Peter at that time. In Acts the 12th chapter, the first verse, it was King Herod.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me pull it up.
Yeah, we know he was an Edomite king, so we know they wasn't proper.
They were celebrating Easter, and that's why you have today where you got Christians saying that Easter is Passover and vice versa.
Okay, so here we go right here. It says, and now at the time Herod the king stretched forth his hand and vexed certain of the church, and he had killed James, the brother of John, with the sword. So this is what they were doing. And because they saw it pleased the Jews, because they wanted these dudes dead. And he proceeded further to take Peter also. But then in the parentheses, it's not saying something, just information. This is also said, but they want you to focus on this. It says, then were the days of unleavened bread. So it's letting you know Passover was already gone. And then it says, then they apprehended him and put him in prison and delivered him to 4 quadrant of soldiers to keep him tending after Easter, which is the celebration of Easter, to bring him forth into the people. So that's all they were saying. So that already went, but then they ran them so closely in junction together. That's all Elder T was actually bringing up. So that was the problem.
I could see that clearly, Elder. I appreciate it.
Okay. Oh yeah, there's no problem. There's no problem, my brother. 1 second. Let me see.
Basically just painted a picture for you and gave you a timeline of what's actually going on.
Yeah.
Thank you. I see what you guys are saying.
Yeah.
So I retract my restatement on Acts on that one.
No, my brother. I'm still not going to retract. I'm gonna send you that book. That's
I didn't say don't send me the book.
No, I'm gonna send you the book.
I wasn't trying to get out of the book, and I'm still not trying to get you to be over me for the Hebraic teachers.
Okay, yeah, because my brother, see, because because my thing is, once you understand really what affiliations and understand exactly, because the Bible function on meanings. It don't function on words. It functions.
Yes, correct.
Once you know what those are, you'll be a dangerous man.
Can't elder, but I am definitely more of, how would they say? One of the reasons I also hold to this patriarchal marriage is because, again, now this is something I know you said we do deal with precept ministries, but I mean deal with precepts. But however, if you go to just examine the culture of us being in Israel or in Africa or wherever we may have been scattered, that culture and that patriarchal marriage was followed, and it can't be it can be said that later that a lot of things about it, I have my own taking of it. And this is something that the Father laid on me, but I'm not going to voice that over the air. I prefer to voice that off the air between me and you. Okay. So now what I will say is that if we are to be people that we're trying to strive to get back to where we are, we have to understand the culture of the people. And from that culture is how we can our meaning and understanding of everything. So for example, I don't know if you have anybody who's in your congregation who's a Jamaican, okay? But if you you do, okay. You can put a pair in front of a Jamaican, and you can ask that person, what would that pair be to you in Jamaica? All right. Now, I'm sorry, excuse me, I said that improperly. You can put a avocado in front of a Jamaican, and they will tell you right away, in Jamaica, we call this a pear. Okay, we call this a pear, right? Now, if you knowing, right, that avocado is a avocado and it's not a pear, but you go to Jamaica, not understanding the culture in Jamaica, and you ask for a pear, and you're going to get what? An avocado. So you have to understand the culture so you can then apply the proper meaning. So that's why one of the things that I have done, I know that I've only been given precepts, but with anyone who wants further information, just as you're giving me precepts, I want everybody to at least understand my thought a little more behind it, is that when you examine the culture, it's there. And on top of examining the culture, you can not only about the patriarchal marriage, but with examining the culture, you are also able to put in the proper meaning and the proper understanding of what was going on at the time. So for me, I know it seemed a lot that I'm just trying to be strictly by the book, which I am, but a lot of times I have also examined culture.
Yeah,
you know, I have also looked at the way we were pre-exilic and the way we were Babylonian. I've looked at it all, and it has continued to show the same in all effects.
I'm glad you're saying what you're saying, because so the same thing as a Hebraeus. I hold everything to the culture. That's where I pulled everything from. If anybody tell you, I have Sister Cole, she want to say something. I don't want to keep. So Sister Cole, you can speak. I can. Sister Cole, she had her hand up.
I don't know if she spoke earlier. Is that a late?
Yeah.
Oh,
go ahead.
Hey, Elder. Yeah, I was just trying to get an understanding of what the young brother was saying, especially as it relates to culture.
Oh, okay.
And trying to equate it to his understanding of having multiple wives. Now, if you go back down through history, you will understand that when we were in physical bondage, that we had no choice. Most of our queens had no choice but to submit to the will of the pink master. Okay. So now when you say culture, then you also have to add in the fact that we were indoctrinated to forget who we are. So my young
thank you.
I challenge you to understand who you are first before you can venture out and minister and preach to anybody else. And one of the reasons why I respect Elder Johnson is because I've been studying under him for the last 2 years, and he don't deviate. And out of his precept mastery and him teaching me, it has challenged me to expand my understanding and to get the basic foundation of the 5 books, that we are the people in scripture. We just don't know it because we too busy trying to come up to a standard of people who don't matter. So I hope that makes some kind of sense to you. You got to understand who you are. And from a biblical perspective, if you understand the precepts of the Bible, my brother, it will open up your mind to so many truths. It will just knock you off your feet. But you got to have the principle, not going off of your understanding. Go off of the understanding of what the Most High, what the Father is saying. Elder Johnson provides. He don't provide no answers. He ain't here for no answers. Hell, if you want answers, wait for Sunday.
Why not Shabbat? Why Sunday?
Tell you what to do, my brother, instead of tapping into your own inner source and getting in touch with the Most High to let him guide you. Elder Johnson is really a guide. So if you want somebody to tell you what to do, sit on that pew on Sunday morning. But I'm gonna just say, like Elder always say, just remember to take your provisions with you. They are gasoline breeches and a match. Oxygen masks are not needed because they will not be available. Get the understanding. Get the understanding. Look to people like Elder Johnson, who not out here trying to pimp and promote you. You look around. That's what the system is doing to us every single solitary day, and we need to tear that system down. We can't tear the system down until we tear ourselves down, so that we can allow the Most High to build us back up. That's all Elder's trying. And being that you have been with us for over 2.5 hours, my brother, I go back to my original question. You've been hit. Now you need to figure out what you're going to do with it. Shalom.
Shalom, sister. Yeah. You're a good brother. I'm not gonna hold you too much more because I know. See, it's only almost 10 o'clock on my end.
Well, Elder, I was already prepared for this, and just to lead to that Koti, blessings unto you, and let it not be felt that any of our instructions fall on dead ears.
Okay. I got you.
Again, I am a man that do know my culture. As I said already, I know my culture and I know my people. Not because I'm saying I know my culture. I had to get up and study. As they tell you that you want to hide something from a black man, hide it in a book. Okay. And we have become lazy as a people to not allow ourselves to be educated and not get up and go understand what the Father has meant for us to be. Okay. So at the same time, this is why I was bringing up culture. So because when you analyze culture, you're not trying to bring in your own understanding. You're trying to bring in your understanding from the people that was living within those moments, the people that lived it, not us who are here living under the westernized Christian doctrine, which he put out there already. Understand, if we're going to look at it from a culture standpoint, with all due respect to anyone, if anyone will say that we come from Africa, again, if they that's respect to them. If anyone will say that we come from America, or whatever you are aboriginal to, or whatever you are indigenous to, if you examine that culture, you will already know exactly what I am talking about. Okay. And again, as I said earlier during my part of when I was speaking, is that if we are to say that we are from Africa, this is not a discussion. Okay. So the thing of not to be, again, I understand of how we can see that some of these group men can come and abuse a system and to make it seem that it's not proper and it's not of the Most High. I have no time to say to anybody, go look at David, go look at all of these people who had those. That makes no sense for me to do. I can just point you in the direction of that the Most High made provisions, and it is up for you to see that he allowed that or not. I cannot force anyone's eyes to be seen. I know a lot of people, as I spoke to Pastor Johnson, they look at me and I'm young and they think that I probably have not done a lot of search. Let me put the fork in that steak right there. Okay. I have done a lot of research. In fact, if anybody would like, I have a page called facthistory.com. I mean on Facebook. And if you go there to Fact History, that page has numerous of information about our culture of as in a indigenous state before the colonizers came over. I study anthropology. I study a couple of things that I study that we haven't touched on here. So I can see why the thing may be conveyed that, oh, it's just this state, this part. But I can't sit and try to go through all of those. But I do at least want people to understand that, not that I have all the answers, but I have studied. And with my studying, that does not give me a definitive answer. It is the Most High Yahweh that says yay or nay. If his word already says yay, there is no reason for me to be ignorant and stand there. It's almost as if I'm looking at the Father and saying, Father, it's the Sabbath on the Shabbat. I'm going to petition to you the Sabbath, that you answer me when the Sabbath is, when it is clearly showing me when the Sabbath is. I don't have to go and try to petition the Father for when the Sabbath is. It's showing me. The scriptures are showing me. Okay. So if I want understanding to petition the Father about polygyny, or as they call it, polygamy, as again, I don't use that word because I feel that that was colonizers coming over to our culture, viewing us and labeling that word, using that word. Because again, the word polygamy, nowhere in the Bible. You won't find it. You will not find it.
Yeah.
This was a cultural thing. Okay. So I don't want that form of understanding to be there. However, again, what I will say is, because Pastor Johnson did come on for a long time, and I am here to be talked to for as long as I can possible. But the thing is, at the end of the day, we gave what we can. I've gotten understanding from you. I pray you get understanding from me. What I've presented, only thing you can do is go to the Father and ask for your understanding. What you've presented, I can only go to the Father and ask for my understanding. I mean, for his understanding, and go from there. That is the way for it to be done. Before this started, I asked Elder, and he knows, and I said, Elder, please cover the broadcast before we even start with a so if somebody probably had saw that, they would know that I'm not seeking after myself. And then it's not of my own flesh.
Yeah. I know you already.
So that part, I just at least want them to understand that. And like I explained to Elder before, because I am young, that assumption sometimes gets thrown on me. But it's fine with me. But I just tell everybody with the understanding of everything that Christ probably didn't finish his ministry. He probably didn't touch 34 or 35. So I'm here to get ready to take up that mantle. The field of harvest is ripe, but not enough laborers. I got my icicle in my hand, and I'm just waiting to do his work. That's it.
Okay. All right. I think,
to you, Elder.
yeah, we have Brother Smalls that he had a question or a comment.
Can Elder.
All right, shalom, brother. How you doing?
Shalom, I'm good, Elder.
Good. I wanna point something out to you as well. I'm not far from age. I know where you're going, and I've been there also. And I study hard and searched and seek. I even looked into all those other books, the Strongs. I even went under and studied with a brother who was using those same books with those same words, and nothing really added up to me until I had to step away from that. And I had a sister speak to me and tell me about Elder Johnson. And since being around what I already had known by studying the scriptures, things became a lot more clear. And all of a sudden, the rain was pouring nonstop. So keep studying, and not for your own understanding, because you're going to seek him in spirit constantly. And just go to this one place that he actually, just seek it from him. Because a man is always going to give you his story. And yes, you can study things from the cultural context and idioms, but that can't be from someone else's perspective that's already written for you. Be led by the Spirit, the one that Father puts in you to be led by. You have your guide. It's in that book.
Yeah.
Book that you know you'll go to and study out of. Say you read paperback, it's going to be perfect for you. Understanding where you came from and where you're going. The flesh is going to die. So therefore, you know you need to seek him in spirit and truth and keeping those laws. Because in the beginning, in Genesis 2:24, he says, and they became one flesh. And his wife, it was only just that one. I know I spoke into it this way here. It was just that one. Marrying that one, because you're, even as so as Genesis 49:31, it shows that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob were buried with their wife. Their wife, just one. Same thing is so in spirit to understand that the Most High written these laws. He's not going to break his covenant. We broke it by spiritually to doing what? Committing idolatry and fornication and adultery, right? Just one. So you need to keep studying, and you know the scriptures and see those books and know what's going on, because you mentioned before that Aaron and Miriam were not prophet. Aaron was the high priest. He was the high priest to get to understanding what's going on. And he said Moses was his most loyal servant, which does saying that he's not breaking the law. When he says they become one flesh, Moses did not go outside of that. You trust the words in the book, because if you come to an understanding and say, hey, there's a flaw in this book, draw yourself back and pray with the whole armor of the Most High to get an understanding of that verse that you did not get. And he will provide you with the precept by continuing to study. It will be a constant thing for you. You're putting in the time, just seek it in one place. And you'll get to understand it. Moses was never a king. He was never a king. He said that we will be a nation of holy people, not amongst other people in their kingdoms, only ours. So just keep going. I've been on that same journey, and you'll start to understand it. They're just not adding up in multiple places. He's going to put you in that one place, and it'll start coming to you and flooding. Like the sister said, it's hitting you. You're here for a reason. We're all here for a reason. You're fighting for the truth. We're fighting for the truth constantly. All of us are. And some of us are older. No one is taking account that someone is younger. I go through that all the time. So I understand where you're coming from. But my greatest lesson in life was just to learn to listen. And the Most High says, hearken unto his voice. And that's where you get all your understanding. And thank you for listening.
Yeah.
Thank you for your instruction.
Yeah, that's a good brother there. And I'm gonna tell you, he's a hardcore critical thinker too. You have to talk to him personally. He runs a lot of stuff, but he's a critical thinker. But the main thing is, my brother, the door will always be open. You got my personal number, and you can always hit us, at any time. But the main thing is one, I do want to give you the respect that, it takes a real person, a real man to sit there to, even where you came in and you did it really respectful. You said, hey, I hold the same view. Now, the main problem I only have with, and it wasn't with you, is the ones who push that doctrine out there. I emailed them, called them, and everything. They wouldn't come forward. And so you letting people know right up front, this is my stance. And you come to it like a man. So that's why the Most High say, you take a step to him, he'll take one to you. So my brother, I give you your respect all the way around. I have no qualms with you, and as you can see, nobody has no qualms with you. And by looking at this monitor and making sure you will not be, but everybody seems like everybody love you, my brother, because everybody giving you nothing but respect all the way through here. Even if you go back and look at the video, the chat is open on the YouTube side, but nothing but respect on both sides, my brother. So the thing is that most people who don't know him, he's this is Minister MAKKABI. As he said, he do some studies, I guess on the background where he has the Facebook page where he do stuff. But the same thing is, I'm gonna make sure that you get a couple of books that I actually write. But these things that I write, it's not that I'm writing these study books. Main thing what I do, I put the precepts, and these are foundational precepts, and I also put the affiliations in there. I show you what words mean based in Hebrew and how they flipped it around. That's what I do. So all you do, you see those. Actually, I can show you a copy of what I'm talking about. Better yet,
Okay.
and that's the way I can send it to. But I'm gonna send it to you, my brother, because I know if anybody gonna use, I know you're gonna use it. So I am that part. I'm not even. Literally, I'm not even worried about that. Because I know.
It becomes like a cheat code. You get it to me. You better be careful.
Yeah, but I'm getting ready to show it to you right now. Exactly what it is. And basically what we do, and you'll see it right here. This is a study Bible right here. So basically, I don't know. So say like if you go in here, and we can go into Genesis chapter 6. And same thing, under every verse, if it has a meaning, I show you exactly what it means. And the reason why the Most High even had a problem when the sons of God came into the daughters of man, the reason why, because fair, it didn't say how they actually they was beautiful, it was just saying they was fair, which fair don't mean nothing but Japhet, fair skin. That's all that was talking about. And that's why when you read down, you see the problem. You can see all through here. Everything you see is affiliations and precepts. I show you what everything means, and I have to take the time and flip it around and show you what it meant in Hebrew to give it to you in English. So that's why sometimes my teaching sometimes takes a little while, because whatever it takes for me to make sure that they understand what these words mean. If I got to use 4 or 5 precepts to explain something, I use 4 or 5 precepts to explain it. That's what I do. I don't sugarcoat it. But it's up to me to do it. So that's the thing he put on me. And same thing, I listened to you real close when you talk about that dream. Same thing is he put something on you. And the main thing is I can still see you the same way as he would sit there and do with Stephen. So the same thing is to where you can go right in there, my brother, and to where you need to push out this doctrine to do what you do. And the main thing is, let us show you and challenge. And main thing is, you can challenge all day long. That problem we do not have, because the only thing I'm always spit back is you're gonna see me come out of one book. As I said, I read Hebrew and Greek. But the thing is, you can't find nobody on here to where where they will tell you where I teach them in Hebrew or Greek, because literally they'll be still stuck in the back. And to even give you a short history on that, one of my first teaching, I did that, thinking I chest stuck out, and I did a whole bunch of Hebrew and Greek. And I'm talking to English speaking people. The only thing I heard was, that's a bad brother, this and that, man. Nobody knew what I was talking about. Nobody knew what I was talking about. But this way, I teach people in precepts, and they see the precepts, they see the affiliation, and they get it. And once they get it, it accelerates them on their studies, because now they know what stuff means. Because once you know what it means, you know how it functions, you can easily run through the Bible to where it make more sense every time. And that's why I say, I want to shoot it to you. That's why I want to send it to you, because once you get it, and you might have a lot of still some of your own personal thoughts on whatever, that book. And once you see what it means, I even challenge you to go through the Septuagints. I challenge you to go through the concordances and everything else, and you will see it automatically, because what you can do is apply what you see in the beginning, and you can apply it all the way in the back of the book, and it always gonna mean the same thing. What they do is they'll put a word here and make it mean something here, and then say, well, over here it means something over here, and over here it means something over here. That's not the truth. Literally, it's not the truth. And I tell you something else. Most of those books that you talking about, the Septuagint, the Strongs, and all that, guarantee you right now, you can go really right now in a couple of those countries, in Israel is one of them, and guarantee you right now, you cannot get those books, because those books are hardly being. That's a fact. So what they do sell over there, they like to sell the Ocleo, the Ocleos over there. And that's one book that they do push. And actually, I got one over here. I got all 5 of them here, but they love to push that. They love to push that book. But that's what we're gonna do, my brothers. I don't think we have any other questions. Everybody's good. Elder Pittman, Brother Smalls, Elder T, and Elder Smith. Is we all good, or everybody's good?
Thank you for listening.
Yeah. So yeah, and Minister MAKKABI, you have any closing words? That I'm gonna give you the last one, my brother.
No, just and may the Most High be with everybody, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Hey, my brother, I appreciate you, my brother, and I'm gonna make sure I get that out to you. We need to touch bases to where I can make sure you have that come to you, and same thing. I need to make sure I have your number. Well, I actually got your number already. I need to pin that. I need to stay in contact. And I'm gonna tell you, I keep looking at you. You're scary, because I'm gonna tell you, man, you look just like my dang nephew, just a darker. I kid you not, you look just like him. So everybody's good, and I believe that everybody on the YouTube side, we really wasn't taking questions there that you had to come in the back, but everybody here, you got much love on that side, but you got a whole lot of love over there. So with that, and we're going to go ahead and go out. So Minister MAKKABI, I really appreciate you coming on. I really do thank you for sharing your thoughts, going through to where we can go through the book. And you actually meant what you said, because as soon as you seen that it was a small issue with the CEPHER, you literally just dropped it like it was, okay, hey, we'll just go from, my brother, I all respect.
It's no problem.
All respect there, my brother. So we're going to go through it. So until next time, I tell each and every person, to everybody, shalom.
Shalom.